Been having some sound issues recently, as everybody knows. While we wait for people to gather, I'm actually going to check my tracking on something. Just give me 1 second. I said as if I'm asking for your permission, I guess. I don't need your permission to do anything. While we wait for people to gather, I'm actually going to check my tracking on something. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, the audio sounds fine. How's it going, everybody? Just going to check the shipment while I wait for people to gather. USPS tracking. Holy shit. Okay, okay. Everybody calm down. Go to the trash. USPS from delivery. 1 package. Who's it for? No! That won't let me track it, you fuck! Damn it! Ends in 980. Okay, that's fine. Right, shut up! OBS Studio reconnection successful. Thanks for losing connection in the first place, you ass. Okay. So that theoretically is coming today. Cool. I'll get my last microphone part today, and then I can tinker around with that and try and get it working. So we get a new microphone, and the people complain less about our audio quality. Now, I don't know what to do about OBS disconnecting and reconnecting to YouTube every once in a while. That's fucked up, not my fault. So I don't like that. Let's check in with chat. We have CJ, we have McWrightface, we have David, and Anatoly. Here's the awkward part. I don't want to start the prestigious faction war without everybody here, but also we got to do something. We got to start talking about something. Okay. 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 Quick channel update, and then we'll get going, just because we got to get going eventually, but people are gathering. So, oh boy, we have a lot of content I've been working on. I've been doing some different stuff, trying to get subscribers on this dead game, apparently. Holy shit. Channel growth is so slow. And it's weird because live viewership has been trending upwards. Y'all are killing it. Alright, we're consistently getting to an average of about 100 viewers a stream, like, at one point in time. After it gets going for a bit, it usually gets up to around 100 and stays there. That's dope as hell. But our video viewership is incredibly stagnant from back when my live averages were like 68. So it's weird that we've gained almost 50% viewership live, but then the videos aren't getting it. I don't know, man. It's wild. I don't know what to do. Dov Plays still gets like double our views on every video, but he doesn't have double our subscribers. Turin still gets 10 times our views on every video. He does have 10 times my subscribers, so that one tracks. So I have two different problems. One, where are all these Dov viewers that I can't seem to get to? Because we cover the same type of content, so you wouldn't think that it'd be that different. And then the other thing is how do I get, you know, the 1 out of 10 viewers that watch Turin know I even exist, apparently. So how do I get those other 9? I don't know. That's my problem right now. That's what I'm dealing with. So what's going on my end? We're trying some more innovative, amazing content that maybe gets us moving in the right direction. We'll be mixing in some replay casts here and there, the usual stuff. Where the ice bath? It's on my desktop. I haven't edited it yet. I'll edit it tonight. What's this one? Hold on. Open with VLC. This might be loud. I don't know. It's a tub of snow. We got a tub of snow. So I'm filled with water. So that was the start of that thing. Where's the part where I get into it? Hello.
Which chaos god would you serve?
There. You got a little snippet. You got a little snippet. You don't get the full thing. That'd be spoilers. There's your snippet of me freezing my balls off. Alright, we're gonna get started. Enough lollygagging. I was stalling a bit. I was stalling a little bit to allow people to gather. We have the Winter Faction War 2025. This is the first faction war we posted since the Omens of Destruction came out, which means Khorne and Greenskins and Ogre Kingdom should be performing quite well. Right. Today we'll be casting the right side. We will get to our top 2 players on this side to know who will be live on the finals day. On this side we have Tzeentch, Ogre Kingdom, Slaanesh, Norska, Dark Elves, Vampire Coast, Lizardmen, Wood Elves, Dwarves, Khorne, Grand Cathay, Empire, Warriors of Chaos, High Elves, Skaven, and Vampire Counts. Now, there are 24 factions in the game. There are 32 spots in this tournament to make it an even bracket. There are 8 repeats. We did invite 8 players that are just popular or stream likes them, or they're very, very good at the game but don't often show up for our qualifiers, yada yada. So, if I can remember them off the top of my head, we invited Alfredino, number 1 player in the world right now, we believe. He did win our Warpstone Cup last year. So invited Alfredino, invited Flying Taco. Taco's just really, really good, and Ogres are super strong this patch, so we wanted him to be playing those. And he doesn't often show up for our qualifiers, but if we just invite him, he'll show up. Berserk is very good, debatably number 2 in the world, invited him. Sipa's very good, debatably number 2 in the world, because he got second in the Warpstone Cup, but Alfred beat him in the finals in a very close series. But Alfred also beat Berserk, so it's like, well, if Berserk and Sipa fought, who would win? I don't know. So debatably, the two number 2 contestants for the best in the world. Invited Blood Penguin because he's a longtime favorite who plays Empire. Invited Pigman because he's been grinding the Vermin League ladder and he plays Grand Cathay. And we invited Anti-Kaiju because he also grinds the ladder and we felt like throwing him a bone. And he's well known for Slaanesh. I think that was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm missing one. I think I invited Ryder. Yeah, I think I invited Ryder because Ryder's beloved and has been helping me with a lot of content, so he's just a G. Go check him out on Twitter. Or X, or whatever the fuck it's called. He does art. Alright. So if you see repeat factions, you're like, why are there 2 High Elves? It's because Ryder was invited and he picked High Elves to round out the bracket. We'll be covering the right side today. I'm on the right side. I'm going to do very well. Start off from the top with Nish and Flying Taco. I'm now going to zoom in so you don't have to squint so much. Fit to screen. Scroll slightly to the right. And there we go. So let's do it. Nish and Flying Taco. Tzeentch Ogre Kingdoms. Now, if you've been watching our World Cup content, you've been getting a lot of try-hard content. You've been watching a lot of people try their very best, take the best builds they can, and try and win games, whether they be cheesy or not. This will be similar. It will be try-hard, but since it's not the World Cup, there's no pick and ban. Every faction is represented. You will see the factions that we haven't seen in the World Cup because they're bad. So there will be people playing bad factions as best they can. So if you're a Norska enjoyer out there and you haven't seen them in the try-hard tournaments, now is your time. Norska gang, rise up. Maybe participate in some turn tournaments. That's how I found your channel, at least. Turn just does domination now, which is not my vibe. That's fine if he wants to do it. That's fine if people want to watch it. I'm not trying to take a shot at him, but it's just not my vibe. I like land battles. I like conquest. That's my thing. All right. So for Nalnish's Tzeentch, we have a Forsaken front line with some Zongors and Chaos Warrior Halberds backing them up. Chaos Furies to guard in the sky against Blood Vultures, and then double Changebringer. A Changeling composition with Skarsnik for his stealth and fermented fungi, it appears. And then we have a Cultist for magic with just Burning Head to clear out Noblars. Okay, they're going to try and Sky Cheese. For Flying Taco, we have the Thunder Tusk, Blood Vultures to protect against the air a little bit, then Noblar frontline, Iron Guts, one Lead Belcher, and the Sky Striders. That's about it. I don't know if one Lead Belcher is going to be enough to stop the Changebringers here. They are trying to turn and fire. Thunder Tusk is also shooting up there. Gets a little bit of damage out, but one more solid Changebringer volley will take out the Lead Belchers, and that's all of the Ogre Kingdom's ranged, really. As Chaos Furies died to take out the Blood Vultures, maybe not worth it to die for that, but they really, really, really want to secure the air advantage so their Changebringers can just kill this Thunder Tusk without any issue. Looks like the Lead Belchers were doing decent damage to the Changebringers. They're now starting to kite away as a Rampage draws the Lead Belchers into the front line. They are getting a Troll Guts to heal themselves up. That Snowball never misses. And 0 leadership on the Changebringers. They really need to rally because they have a ton of ammunition left to provide Tzeentch with more damage as the Changebringers are currently roasting the Thunder Tusk. Lead Belchers and Thunder Tusk in a lot of danger. Bounce power is heavily favoring the Ogre Kingdoms, but this is all about whether or not the Changebringers can kill off every ranged unit, and then they can just win the game from there. Doesn't matter what the balance of power says if Changebringers just get to free fire. But the Lead Belchers are back online, barely, firing up the Changebringers. These other Changebringers getting dangerously close to the Thunder Tusk. His little spear thrower guy on his back might just send them to Demonic Instability Crumbling, but for now they're down to half HP, and I don't know if they have a tier 3 army passive yet or not for Meat Feast. But the Lead Belchers have turned, got another good shot on the Changebringers, who are super close to Demonic Instability Crumbling, and some of the Blood Vultures did find their way onto the other Changebringers. Now Tzeentch is in trouble. Lead Belchers still being online. Obviously the Thunder Tusk still being online, and then the Blood Vultures harassing this other one. Your Changebringers are just too damaged. Yep, other Blood Vultures come back, deal with those guys, and now without the Changebringers, that's 3,200 gold value. That isn't going to be able to carry the game for you. You're just outmatched on the ground. You have some Halberds, you have some Forsaken, that's all neat, but they have the Sky Striders, they have the Thunder Tusk. They can kite you infinitely, they can Cycle Charge you infinitely. There's not a whole lot you can do to win from that point. I think Tzeentch is doomed. Doomed, I say! Trixie traps out from Skarsnik Changeling and the Cultist of Tzeentch, but I just don't think they have damage. Like, yay, your Forsaken are sneaky now. That's cool. It's not gonna do too much as the Thunder Tusk just rampages through him. Look at that collision damage he's coming through. Gonna tear out these guys soon. The Rampage wears off with very little effect. And the Sky Striders will soon finish off those Halberds of Tzeentch. Oh, we still have Iron Guts and Piggyback Riders in here. Wow, Taco using a Meat Feast on the Iron Guts, not even bothering to use it on the Thunder Tusk or the Sky Striders. That's confidence. His Lead Belcher even got to safety and is just kind of trying to fire up and over the hill, but it's not really getting too much done. Burning Head out onto the Piggyback Riders to send a message more than anything. And once the Cultist terror routes away here, it should be army losses. Not having your caster is pretty brutal. Oh, hey, the Changebringers are still alive. I didn't know that. I honestly thought you guys were already dead. As a Dismember is going to slow them down by 60%, trying to let the Blood Vultures catch up to them. Strangely, the Blood Vultures weren't actually getting that much damage out, but Nish surrenders. For Borgash, his lore didn't get much value, but he was mostly just about rampaging stuff. Mainly, it was the Chaos Furies not being able to finish off the Blood Vultures. I think they were a little over-ambitious to try and kill those guys, because one of them died trying to route one, and then it just comes back because your demonic unit is dead now. And the other one looks like it got tied up in some other shenanigans. The Changebringers did a lot of damage, but Taco did pretty great to heal up his Lead Belchers, stay alive. Thunder Tusk is shockingly good at hitting flying mobile units with its homing snowball. Probably needs to be nerfed. I know we banned it on our ladder, which these games are played by the rules we use on our Vermin League ladder, but this game was played before that ban came in. So that's different. Taco did nothing wrong. Okay, we'll delete that so I don't have to keep scrolling over it, and then we will go to the bracket. Alright, Flying Taco moves up. Bam! And now that I don't have so many names, I'm going to make his ogre symbol a little bigger. There we go. Let's go find Anti-Kaiju versus Ozek RMM. I am hoping... Hope against hope I get to fight Norska Skaven for like the 900th time, but I have a grudge to pick with Ozek here. In the Faction War Qualifier, he beat my Skaven with his Norska and almost doomed me to not be the Skaven representative, so I do hope to meet him further along in the bracket and get my vengeance. Spoilers. Spoilers, folks. Spoilers. I didn't say anything. You didn't hear shit. Okay. For Norska to come meet me in combat, they have to get past Slaanesh. Let's see if they can do it. We have Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh, some Devoted Marauders with spears on the side. Then we have Seekers, 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 and Seekers for Seekers. And Exalted Keeper Secrets of Slaanesh with just the Rampage for a spell. Then the AoE Rampage as an ability as well. Norska is channeling their inner dwarf, their inner Cathay, as they attempt a Norska box. 5 Berserkers, 2 Marauder Spearmen, boxing up with 3 Armored Skinwolves, 3 Spear Throwers, 1 Marauder Hunter with axes for the armor piercing. Then we have Plague of Rust, Syrian Doomcaster, and Gotrek. Gotrek the Wanderer, Hunter of Champions, Fight or Die, and Seafang. Who's the unfortunate guy having to play Norska? You mean the guy with the great pleasure of playing Norska, Zero. Plague of Rust Overcast on the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh to make them easier for the Marauder Berserkers to chew through. With only 40 armor now, this should actually be a pretty good fight for those Marauders. 44 melee defense won't keep you safe from 51 melee attack plus 5 bonus versus infantry. Skinwolves also dive onto the front line. Seeing that this is a very heavy Chaos Warrior push, the Skinwolves will commit to that. They're really worried about getting rampaged and fighting the Seekers all alone, so they need to make sure they stay in their formation. Nice Overcasted Searing Doom on the back of the Seekers does good damage as the Skinwolves come in. And I bet those Jab Throwers will be turning around soon, but yeah, that Plague of Rusted Chaos Warrior is already dead. Now I think what is concerning for Norska is that a Plague of Rust and getting shot Chaos Warriors still almost got through the Marauder Berserkers, and that is very not good for their chances of keeping this box in formation. As you can see, some of the Spearmen are getting out of formation. A Rampage is going to come down for some of the Javelin Throwers. This is where it gets a little spooky when your units get out of your control and break formation. Slaanesh is really good at diving in, making mincemeat out of your units, like these Armored Skinwolves that used to be healthy and now are like dead from one Seeker charge. And the other Devoted Marauder Spears are coming in. Can the Norskin lines hold? Hunter of Champions is down onto this lady, giving her 0 armor and 20 melee defense, as Wolfric and the Skinwolves try and deal with it. There's also some spears around. Seductive Glory's going to rampage them, then she'll run away. There's not a lot of punish for that rampage, though. It was more of just a, hey, fuck you, as she runs. Seekers barely clinging to their leadership as they get a lot more damage out onto the Armored Skinwolves. And a nice burning head down from the caster. Oh, there's a second caster from Norska, I see. Gets a little bit of damage down on the Seekers, but it was really nice for that -8 burnt leadership debuff that gets rid of those guys. But the Norskin box is starting to fall apart. We have a lot of low HP bars, and some stuff's even starting to rout. And if you know anything about Slaanesh, you know that when routing units die, Slaanesh is very happy and gets a lot of army passive for even more rampages and for that narcissism net that can be so annoying for a lord. Another Pavane comes in for the last ranged unit that was actually able to fire. No more javelins will be getting thrown towards the Exalted Keeper Secrets yet. And the Chaos Warriors and the Marauder Spears are slowly pushing in. They're out-trading these Marauder Berserkers, and it's only a matter of time before the Norskin box buckles. We can see some shattering going on. Seekers falling back. We still have 2 of them alive, and they're going to be needed in the late game for some cycle charging or chasing things off, as just the metal vice of Chaos Warriors is churning in, slowly walking down the Norskins. And all the ranged units we can see just ran out of places to go. If I hit the spacebar, you can see all the green models. Those are all Slaanesh models. They've completely infiltrated the box, and the ranged units got pummeled and ran away. This is where the Seekers need to just sweep up all these guys. They can't let them get a second wind out in the middle of nowhere. So the Seekers, I really don't like this. Good charge onto the Armored Skinwolves, but I'm worried that if you lose your Seekers, Norska's going to just make a second battle line up here and push back in. You have to re-break the formation. You have to re-break everything. Because if your 2 Seekers die, Norska has the mobility advantage. They'll have Skinwolves, and you'll have nothing that can counter. A lot of stuff is routing, and so far the Seekers haven't died yet. So you still have mobility advantage, even if it's a little tenuous. But here we're starting to see Skinwolves come back, Jab Throwers come back, Metal Caster's going to be fine and come back. Balance power slightly Slaanesh favored. Can he hold it together? Another rampage out for the Armored Skinwolves. Terror Route takes them away. Other Armored Skinwolves running away as well. And the Seekers need to go into chase mode. They got to start running some things down. Otherwise the Skinwolves, as Skinwolves always do, goddamn Skinwolves, they always get away, they always regenerate, and they'll come back stronger and better than ever. Overcast of Searing Doom down, going to hit some Seekers. They are trying to dodge. They don't get out of the way in time, take enough damage, they will Demonic Instability crumble. The Exalted Keeper Secrets should be able to finish off that teeny tiny caster, but that's not really the point, is it? As we're down to 1 Seeker left for all the mobility of Slaanesh. The Marauder Hunters do not turn in time to fight them, so now we have Chaos Warriors on 1, Seekers on the other. Should be able to get rid of those ranged units, and elsewhere the Skinwolves are kiting away. We see 2 out of the 3 have rallied, and they're just healing up and running for it. Last Seeker. 0 leadership as it gets rear charged by the little shaman. The little shaman that could, his rear charge does it. No more fast units besides, obviously, the Lord. The Lord is fast. I get that. But if you have a 2,800 gold Exalted Keeper Secrets chasing around Skinwolves all game, you're not going to have a good time. Slaanesh is down to infantry and a big, spooky, scary, expensive Lord. For Norska, we have some tattered infantry, some tattered Skinwolves, but how long will they remain tattered? I wonder. And Skinwolves can do serious work on the Exalted Keeper Secrets if they isolate her and then they get Hunter of Champions and or Fight or Die. Probably not at the same time, that's a little overkill, but like Hunter of Champions and then when it wears off, Fight or Die to keep your Skinwolves in the fight. Could be a good combo. Norska's now just trying to kite. They're trying to get their ranged units to safety, and it seems like Kaiju noticed that and immediately casts Rampage on the Marauders, but in comes another overcasted Searing Doom, gonna hit some Chaos Warriors, and a very healthy Devoted Marauder Spear. Really nice cast, as the Shaman is about to get Terror Routed and run away, but the Keeper Secrets is actually ignoring him. Pops Palliative Blows, wants everything to go in on this Wolfric Snipe right now. The only problem is he is infantry right now. He's infantry sized. You can get some good hits on him, and his HP bar is low, but there's also the risk that you do some big derp and you just send him flying. Thankfully, though, 2 good hits in a row is going to rout him any second now. In comes the Hunter of Champions with the Skinwolves charging in and Fight or Die. Wolfric pops everything in this last attempt to snipe out the Lord and save Wolfric. Beautiful Sea Fang down the line from Norska, but still the Chaos Warriors are holding. They're not going anywhere just yet, and that lady is not missing. She's hit Wolfric like every single shot. And I'm not saying she shouldn't. I'm just surprised that the single entity versus infantry jank isn't occurring. More Skinwolves charging in to try and save Wolfric. He does die, and that'll probably be GG for Norska, as the Keeper Secrets is at half HP, but their leadership just isn't holding up. She's Mortis Engine draining everything down as this leadership lowers, and she's Terror Routing them away, which heals her. So now this Exalted Keeper Secret should be able to just chase and heal and shatter. There will be no rematch of me versus Norska. Sad. I'm being attacked by a kitty cat in real life. He demands chin scritches, so I'm doing this one-handed. The Chaos Warrior push was nice. Seekers did their jobs, but very few of them actually paid for themselves because Ozek countered them nicely. Okay, if you want to nitpick, I think there was a couple overextensions or slight misplays from the Seekers, but really good use of the Exalted Keeper Secrets, and then just a solid build of Chaos Warriors. And a good surround, so he was closing in from every direction at once. Norska couldn't kite away until they had taken a lot of damage. Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh doing great. Not even the Hell Scourges, just basic Chaos Warriors. Spoilers. You lied. I did lie. I am a showman. I am an expert at this. You think I would dare tell you something that actually happened ahead of time? Fuck you. You don't get to know that. Only I get to know that. Alright, delete that. Pop back over to the bracket. Bam. Bam. We'll have Slaanesh versus the Ogre Kingdoms. Pew. Again, now that it's out of that teeny tiny bracket, I'll make it a little bigger. Next up is Sipa on Dark Elves versus Rocket Roo with the vampires. Vampire Coast. Dark Elves VP. Rocket's going with the 4 bomber bats as well. I didn't go 4. I've gone 2 recently when I was fighting Dark Elves, and they did surprisingly well. I'm curious to see how he uses them. They were just nice and annoying. And Elves' light armor and tight formations made it so I could actually take out the Dark Shards with these bats. So I like it. I like it. For Sipa and his Dark Elves, we have a Supreme Sorceress of Dark with just Blade Wind, and she is on horseback. Then we have a bunch of Dark Riders, Doomfire Warlocks, Cold One Knights, a couple Bleak Swords, 5 of them total. Some Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows. I think that is for hyper late game. If you get down to just crabs you need to kite out, they can use those armor-piercing missiles to good effect. 2 Harpies as well. You know, set for the Vampire Coast, Zombie Deckhands Mob, and then a bunch of mass. 4 Morngulls, 4 animated Hulks, it looks like. Or 2 animated Hulks and 4 Morngulls. 2 dogs, 4 bomber bats, and then Celestra Dirafon on her Rotting Leviathan. Haven't seen her on her crab mount for a while. She brought Kraken's Pull, Tide Call, and then Ghost the Pass Summon. Blade Wind is out. It unfortunately whiffs entirely, missing all the zombies, but the bomber bats do get harassed by the harpies. There's no guns on the ground, but there's no pistols, there's no handguns to keep them safe from the harpies. The harpies are just going to feast, and that is very unfortunate. But, I mean, the Vampire Coast is getting through the front line quite quickly. The Bleak Swords are having a bad time. The Dark Riders are having a bad time. Not taking any guns to peel off these harpies is going to prove to be a costly mistake, though, as all those bomber bats are going to die for free. Soulblight is down from the Doomfire Warlocks as they fight the Mournguls. Colder Knights flocking in. Man, Dark Elves really want this specific Mourngul dead. We have 3 cav units, all above 1,000 value, all committing to killing that Mourngul. As the Damn Knight's Errant Summon is getting blocked up by Dark Riders. They really don't want to fight Dark Riders. It's a good play by the Dark Elves, just throw Dark Rider at them. Their armor piercing is worthless, and then they have pretty mediocre stats without that 100% armor piercing. Other Mournguls are trying to hold it down. The Dark Elves are losing the frontline fight to the Mournguls and Zombie Rush. But the big problem is the air superiority of the Harpies versus the Bomber Bats, and then the Cav superiority on the sides. The Cav are just closing in on each flank, really dragging down the Mournguls as they run out of zombie support. Bounce power turns in the favor of the Dark Elves at this point. Celostra's doing what she can to provide a little bit of effect. Terror causing Crabbo, that Stabbo. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. I mean, here come the Dark Rider Peter crossbows. They feel safe enough now to move in and just start shooting at her for free. And they'll take her down. It might take all of their ammunition. Wow, nice dodge. Anyway, they might take all their ammo, but they'll take her down eventually. Damn Knight's Errant Summon has 3 seconds left to live, and then this entire flank will collapse, as those last zombies will also get killed off. Doomfire Warlock's running in, and it's now just Celestra on her crab and an animated Hulk, which is just a 500 gold, like, chaff monstrous unit. So do you think Crab Lady can kill everything left on the entire map? The answer is usually no. Four Mournguls in this economy? Yeah. I disapprove that both vampire factions abbreviate to VC. Most people in our multiplayer community do Vampire Coast as Vampirates, VP, and then Vampire counts as VC, but if that helps you at all. Yes, it does suck that they're both VC, but we just say VP, Vampirates. Good build from the Dark Elves. Liked it a lot. I liked that they checked their boxes and had some Harpies to harass bats in case they existed, because Dark Shards actually lose to the bats if you micro them well. You can dodge the Dark Shard volley and then run up and hit them with some bombs, and that'll usually rout them actually pretty quick. So, yeah, the Harpies did great. And Rocket in the chat saying he loaded up with the wrong build but didn't have an in-cap impact on the matchup. Just say coast and counts. But that doesn't abbreviate to anything. That just abbreviates to C and C. Back to the bracket. Bim, bam, boom. Dark Elves advance. So far, only S-tier factions advancing. That's a meme. Slaanesh is not S-tier in land battles. I know people in Domination are complaining about them, but in land battles, they're like, fine. High B, low A. Demons of Chaos use a lot of Slaanesh units to great effect, but Slaanesh doesn't. Next up is Tequila Sunset and Dactor. Lizardmen and Wood Elves. But it's one syllable, I don't get you, man. It's all about typing, brother. It's all about typing. When people are doing picks and bans, they don't like to type out stuff. They just do VP, VC. If your pick and ban was I'm playing Vampire Coast, Greenskins, and Vampire Counts, you do VP, GS, VC. Co and Co? Contrarian Codex, you're right. That changes everything. Okay. I'm on the right screen, right? Yes. Okay, cool. I looked over at the stream, and the stream was still in the bracket. I was like, no! No! For Dactor and the Wood Elves, we have a front line of Drycha Dryads. Drycha herself just has Melkoth. Then we have Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and Hagbane Tips. The Starfire Shafts are particularly great against Lizardmen. Armor piercing, magic damage, fire damage. All very good. The physical resistance isn't as big of a deal versus lizards, but the armor piercing is great versus almost all their units. And then the fire damage is amazing on a roster with so much healing. So you'll love to see it. Then we have the Lost Sylvan Knights, Wild Riders, and Glade Riders. Lost Sylvan Knights, I'm a little concerned about. The Lizards have more magic damage than Dactor's used to. Dactor used to play a lot of Warhammer 2, but there's been some magic damage inflation these days. On the other side, we have Cold One Spear Riders, Feral Cold Ones, Red Crested Skink, and regular Skink front lines. And it's an all-out rush. We have Nakai the Wanderer, Flock of Doomcaster, and then some Chameleon Skinks. Overcasted Flock of Doom down on a big old blob of Wood Elf troops, hits about 3 of them. Nakai is going to come in here, but Nakai does not have magic damage, and they didn't bring a lot of magic damage. They didn't bring a Fire Salon for Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Ruin, which I actually see quite a lot in this matchup. And they didn't bring the Cohort of Waddle, the Sacred Crocscore ROR, which I also see a lot in this matchup. So I am concerned about this Tequila Sunset build. Cold One Spear Riders get to fight Wild Riders. They should win that protracted fight without Archer support, but the Archers are supporting, so I think the Cold One Spear Riders will be pushed off. But on their own, they're heavily armored and they're better than the Wild Riders in just a straight-up fight. Obviously, the Wild Riders have other things that make them good, but not at just fighting cavalry. This is concerning, though. The Lizardmen frontline rush isn't going as well as they think it would. It's kind of an even trade, which they bet a lot on pushing through that front line and getting the Archers. So now they're getting through one flank, but their other flank entirely collapsed. This isn't what they bargained for, and they're now starting to get through a little bit, kinda. Still, those Archers can easily fall back to their safe side. Since this flank was a winner, now all the Wood Elves can just go that way, and they'll be nice and safe over here, where they can reset up and keep firing. The Lost Sylvan Knights are peeling off any of the Cowardly Skinks, and it is going to be kind of up to Nakai to carry. That is where a lot of Lizardman money went, is Nakai and Nakai and a Skink Priest versus just Drycha. Obviously, one small single entity caster is cheaper than 2, and one of them's a big monster man. So we'll see. Lost Sylvan Knights are concerning for me. Bronze Shield and 0 armor means the Chameleon Skinks probably have to turn and shoot towards them now. I know they're chasing and trying to deal with the Glade Guard, but you got to do something to kill the Lost Sylvan Knights. And your Flock of Doomcaster ain't the best for killing them. They have 32 models. It's just not the same as like casting Flock of Doom on a whole bunch of units. Lizardmen falling further and further behind. They have very little strength outside of Nakai. And now Nakai is getting the pincushion treatment. Look at all those red arrows on him. Primal Roar. Ooh, but nice cold-blooded to stop him from rampaging. Ow. Starfire Shafts getting right past that physical resistance, though, with all their magic damage. Lost Sylvan Knights, too. So the 20% physical resistance is doing literally nothing for him here as army losses takes hold. The Wood Elves will win. I know Cold One Spear Riders are good. I know Feral Cold Ones and stuff are all good right now, but I don't think you need that much armor piercing versus Wood Elves. It's tricky, because that's a lot of wasted gold on armor piercing. Not that you have a choice. This is your cavalry, and your cavalry's all armor piercing, but it just doesn't matter versus the Wood Elves as much. So, tough. And the Skink frontline didn't get much done either. Poor Nakai, wandering around trying to find a fight that wasn't going to happen. I think he was more ready for Durthu to exist, but I've actually seen a lot of Wood Elf players going away from Durthu. He's still strong, but I think you can bait your opponent into spending a lot on armor-piercing anti-large versus something that you then don't bring. Or you just bring Drycha or an Eagle Caster, or I've seen the Sisters of Twilight. I'm sus on the Sisters of Twilight, but I have seen them. I like to handle one here. Yeah. Cold Ones are buffed? Yeah, Cold Ones are very good right now. Makes you so happy Wood Elves are actually good right now? Yeah. Weight Watchers are actually good. Wood Elves are actually good right now, for sure. Anyone who says different is a liar. Get our Elf-Elf matchup. Wood Elves, Dark Elves. Next up is Gotrek versus Berserk. Now, here's the thing. Berserk, debatably the second best player in the world right now. On Khorne, which is a DLC faction, and it is pretty strong. Gotrek is a dwarf specialist on dwarves. So I don't know who to root for here, because dwarves are scary. I still put dwarves as my best or second best faction in the entire game. I don't care what anybody says. It's them and Demons of Chaos, then one step down in like S- is Ogre Kingdoms, and then everything else after that is A, in my mind. And I don't know. The people who say dwarves aren't S tier usually don't play dwarves in the way that makes dwarves S tier. And that's what bothers me, is it's like, dwarves aren't S tier. Now watch me take like a dwarf warrior front line and some quarrelers and some thunderers and a cannon or two and take like a good stalwart dwarven build. And I'm like, okay, that's a good build, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about S tier dwarves. Like the combination of strong hero hammer, strong aerial kite sky cheese, plus you can field a normal army, plus you can field a bunch of weird shit with like trollhammer torpedo boxes or ironbreaker boxes. I don't know. So we'll see. Gotrek might have some shenanigans to beat Berserk, but if anyone like knows how to break the dwarven bullshittery, it would be Berserk. And Khorne has the tools. Khorne has a lot of arm piercing. Khorne has a lot of anti-infantry. I don't know. Berserk's good. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Dowie versus Khorne. Oh god! Oh! Just looking at it makes me want to die. Good news, I sneezed. Bad news, I sneezed on the dog. Didn't realize she was sleeping under my chair, so I muted my mic to turn around and sneeze, and I just sneezed directly on the puppy. Is Thunderbard allowed in Dom? I don't know. How are the matches chosen? Khorne versus Dowie feels unfair for Dowie. I eyeballed matchups that were roughly even or 60-40 at worst, and then I gave each of the players a veto, like not just one veto, but I literally just have a chat with all of the faction war players in it, and I showed them the bracket and I said, does anyone disagree with your matchup? And then some people did, and then we tried again, changing the matchups people complained about, and then we said, hey, does anybody have issues with your matchup? And I think we got on the third or the second try. So yeah, basically TLDR, both players who got this matchup said, yeah, looks good. Hey Ryan Smith, how you doing, man? Anyway, for Berserk's Khorne, he does have double skull cannon, not the ROR skull cannon, just basic skull cannons. We have Scarbrand with his AoE rampage and then his breath attack, interestingly enough. Exalted Bloodletters, Marauders, some Minotaurs, Chaos Furies, 2 Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, obviously. Khorne doesn't have other options. And we have more Chaos Furies and Chaos Warhounds. For Zadawi, we have quadruple Iron Drakes, Trollhammer Torpedoes, 2 Bolt Throwers, 5 Dwarf Warriors, Thoric, and Garagrim for the Lords. Now the Bolt Throwers can shoot the Skull Cannons and just constantly apply slow pressure, and if the Skull Cannons ever come in close for a nice and easy shot, the Trollhammer Torpedoes with their increased range off of, I think, their rework with the Thrones of Decay that long ago. These guys now have 170 range. They used to be like a shotgun unit that would do a lot of damage. Now they're good proper archers. So the Skull Cannon is doing some good job scooting and shooting, trying to dodge. The main problem is those Bolt Throwers have 8 models shooting at you, so it's hard to dodge every single one, and you are getting slowly attrition down. Whenever he tries to come in and maybe Cycle Charge and get some healing off the Dwarf Warriors, there are these Trollhammer Torpedoes that immediately push him back. So Khorne is going to lose the long-range fight. I don't think they win the melee fight either, because I'm just scarred by dwarves, but I'll believe it when I see it. Fire resist gang? That's true. All the Iron Drakes have 40% fire resistance. Ah, yes, the cluster and uncluster. Decent hit. Unfortunately, the flame zone spawned behind the Iron Drakes. They didn't get that much damage out as the Bolt Throwers keep trying to hit the Skull Cannons. Kind of surprised the Bolt Throwers aren't doing more damage to those Skull Cannons. They've only got 145 value. Now they turn towards the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne. I'm going to play this part of the game at ×2 speed, as we just watch Iron Drakes and Bolt Throwers try and punish the Khorne Kite. I know you guys got sick of Wood Elf Kite on the other stream. How about Corn Kite? Because for some reason that's the direction CA decided to go to with Corn. One Skull Cannon's about dead. This other one's moving into range of the Troll Hammers, so I think he's about to get a really nasty volley straight to the face. He might die. Loses a third of his HP. As this other guy jumps into the Troll Hammer torpedoes, Berserk is finally committing to the fight, realizing he's not going to skirmish his way out of this one. Goes in for the full surround. His Chaos Warhounds surround this Troll Hammer, but then they get hit with the burning. And these are just basic little doggos. They get spooked and scared by the spooky, scary fire, and so do the Furies. That leadership lowering plus all that burst damage just takes care of them. Demonic Stability Crumbling gets rid of them. The dogs are all routing, so we have one Fury left in here and some skirmish cav. Scarbrand runs in with a Rampage, and something's trying to focus fire him. Looks like the Bolt Throwers, but I hope he doesn't overcommit to this. I think Gotrek would be better off if he cleans up all this extra shit and just leaves Scarbrand for later, but we'll see. He is trying to pin cushion him. That is the most common way to kill Scarbrand. Bunch of rocket launchers hitting him in the chest. He's down to about half HP. Dwarves are very far ahead on the balance of power. And more rocket launchers are trying to hit him. As the Marauder Horsemen rout away, the Chaos Furies are about to die, and now you have enough rocket launchers and both bolt throwers. They should be able to finish him off, so then if you get in this situation, you definitely should kill him. Obviously, a Lord Snipe is worth it. Chaos Furies crumble away, Skull Cannon crumbles away, Scarbrand's gonna crumble away, and that'll be army losses nice and quick. But dwarves aren't S tier, guys. I'm just coping. I'm just fucking coping, because dwarves aren't any good. So that's what land battle gameplay looks like. Gandalf the White, that's so disingenuous. I hate that talking point so much. Where people show up and they're like, you pick a bad game, because there are bad games. Bad games exist. You pick a bad game and you're like, oh, this is what land battles are. Bro, have you watched I'm not trying to be a Conquest hater. I'm just making a point here. And this comment actually pisses me off, so I'm gonna go on a little mini rant. And I mean everything I'm saying here. Yes, you get some kite games and land battles that are cool. You get some kite games that suck. You get some blob games that suck. Spoilers, sometimes games just suck. Have you ever watched Conquest? And I'm not trying to shit on Conquest. There's great Conquest games. But have you ever watched Conquest where someone just blobs on a point with vampire counts and heals and just tries to heal their way through your damage? Or Nurgle blobs on a point? Or someone corner camps or forest camps, just cast Blue Fire of Tzeentch over and over again and then push up later? That shit sucks too. You ever watch Domination and fucking Tim the Wilder? Love Tim the Wilder, but he does that late push thing he does that's so fucking boring to watch as he just spawns units and lets you triple cap for a long time, and after like 6 minutes of literally nothing has happened goes on and Tim just pushes up all at once. It's a good strategy. It's shit content. It's a boring ass game to watch. So what are we doing here? I really hate when people show up and they're just like, oh, so land battle sucks because this one game wasn't that interesting. Cool, bro. There's domination games that aren't that interesting. There's conquest games that aren't that interesting. There's just games that aren't that interesting. Have you watched anything? Have you watched anything? Have you watched Super Smash Bros? Watching Steve just bullshit summon minecarts and knock people off the edge of the map. Wow, that's really entertaining content. Yeah, so Super Smash Bros. Is a dead game, I guess, because sometimes games have Steve in it and sometimes games are fucking bad. I guess League of Legends is a bad game because sometimes you have to watch Disguised Toast Team get their shit kicked in and you watch them play terribly and get murdered. It was a bad game, so therefore League of Legends bad. No, fuck that! Look at the good games. If the good games still suck and the good games are boring, then yeah, that game sucks. But don't come in here and say, oh, hey, there was a bad game that we all saw was a bad game. Therefore, your whole game mode sucks. It pisses me off so much. Anyway, there's my rant. If he was joking, whatever. But there are a bunch of people who aren't joking. And it just makes me mauled super hard. Good win by the dwarves. Good job, GG. Next up, we got Pigman versus Blood Penguin, Empire versus Empire 2.0, with more DLC that they can sell to you, because Cathay doesn't have all their DLC out yet, but otherwise they're like the same faction identity. Flight Penguin versus War God, and we have Hawkland Crane Gunners versus Crane Long Rifles. Just reading through chat. What was your reaction to Piranha Plant being added to Smash? That shit was wild, because Waluigi didn't get added, but fucking Piranha Plant does. Ugh. Fuck it. Bring my boy Waluigi. Alright, what do we got? For Blood Penguin, you guys are on the same screen as me, right? Okay. I got flustered. I ranted about stuff. I was worried I left you on the bracket. For Blood Penguin, we have Boris Toddbringer in the sky. Okay, this is a slow motion game as we're apparently fully in it. Triple Hawk and Long Rifle, one of which is the Hergig Jaeger Corps. And then a front line of Spearmen and Swordsmen, a Gold Wizard with just Searing Doom. And then Empire Knights and Silver Bullets. There's that. On the other side for Pigman's build, we have Empress Crowman and another Crowman, 3 Longma Riders, one of which is the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, a Celestial General up in the sky as well, and we have an Alchemist with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, 2 Crane Gunners in the back, protected by Peasant Long Spears, but a very, very heavy flying core here from Pigman. As he goes all in on trying to snipe out Boris, he is getting good damage out, but also he is just easy to shoot for all these long rifles, so it better be worth it as the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin are already almost dead. That is an expensive unit to lose this early. Blood Penguin kept his cavalry in the back, trying to just peel for his long rifles. One of them already gets taken out by the double Crane Gunner shooting at them, and that is going to be problematic, because now 2 Crane Gunners should beat 2 Hawk and Long Rifles. Big Cav engagement. And Boris's leadership debuffs are actually pretty bad for Onyx Chrome to be fighting near. That extra Blood Roar makes it easier for them to get to Mnemonic Instability crumbling points. Big old blob fight happening as Searing Doom was trying to hit the Silver Bullets, but I imagine Blood Penguin probably wants to Searing Doom this right about now, so it's probably on cooldown if he's not hitting that huge blob with his spell. Also have some Empire Knights not getting activated yet for Blood Penguin, so he does have to get moving on those. Now Pigman's 2 Crane Gunners are completely uncontested and firing in, taking out the Silver Bullets. Hergig Jaeger Corps already running away. These guys are trying to reform lines somewhere else, but they're yet to escape, so the Empire shooting is very much shut down, and we can see now that Blood Penguin realizes he's not winning the shooting fight. He needs to push up all of his infantry and try and get to those Crane Gunners, because he needs to stop the damage. The Cav fight's going fine for Blood Penguin. His ground-based Cav is getting good charges on the flying Cav in general. Now, they're not as good of melee combatants as Longma Riders. Longma Riders are a little better than Empire Knights, but they're more expensive, so you don't really expect to win that. In the Empire's favor, they have more infantry and better infantry. They also have Boris, who can heal himself, while Cathay didn't bring any form of healing whatsoever. And this is not ideal. Pigman didn't dedicate any resources. Very nice Overcast Searing Doom. Very nice regular Searing Doom on that side. But anyway, Pigman didn't dedicate any resources to chasing down stuff. He didn't have any Onyx Crowman or Longma Riders that could come back here. So the Hergig Jaeger Corps and the other Hawk and Long Rifles are actually getting back online, which is going to hurt him later in the game. For Blood Penguin, Plague of Rust Overcast onto the Empire Knights makes them pretty squishy to Longma Riders who are trying to rear charge them right now. They did catch one of the Crane Gunners. Those guys like Jazales, like Hawk and Long Rifles, crazy squishy in melee, will get picked off immediately. Pigman is down to 1 Crane Gunner. The Empire has rallied a bunch of forces. We now have the Silver Bullets taking pot shots at Celestial General. They actually still have 61 out of 90 models. Despite their low HP point, they actually have 2/3 of their damage capacity up and ready to go. 1 Empire Knight for Blood Penguin is routed in the back line due to the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin. Those guys are looking pretty depleted on HP, and Boris is slowly healing up as he causes a bit of a ruckus. This 1 Crane Gunner has to do a lot of work for Grand Cathay. Everything else is pretty depleted for both sides, except for that Crane Gunner. It's now trying to kill off the rest of the Hawk and Long Rifles and secure the range advantage once again as Longma Riders were trying to get back here. It looks like they might tear out away from Boris any second now, though, as another Searing Doom tries to take out the Peasant Long Spears. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't tear out. They must have recently, because they're not ITP. Celestial General takes another fight with Boris. He's getting a little bit of hits in on his Longma. He's not on his Celestial Lion, which does a little bit more. Longma Riders diving onto the the Hawkland Long Rifles with the most HP left. Get some damage out, but then Boris gets a nasty rear charge on him, and the other Hawkland Long Rifles are still shooting in. This 1 Crane Gunner, still alive and firing, but unfortunately it's being tasked to keeping itself alive, so it is busy shooting at almost dead Empire Knights, almost dead Swordsmen and stuff, to just keep firing. And meanwhile, the Empire is able to peel their backline, so definitely a winning trade for them. A Searing Doom on these Hawk Long Rifles do no damage. They only have 11 models, and most of them are outside of that tiny circle. But I can see what Pigman is going for. He wanted to just nuke those guys and get rid of them. Boris is sniping out the Celestial General, and that healing we mentioned before is just slowly giving him advantages, because when these guys fight, the Celestial General is beating up Boris 1v1, but then Boris will back off, he'll take another fight, and then it's like an even trade. And then the last time he fought him, the health disparity was just too huge, and the Celestial General gets beaten up. Empire shooting is saved. Teeny tiny HP, but it is saved. Boris is still healing up, and now Grand Cathay is down to literally just this full health Crane Gunner and then a full health Alchemist. Boris will take out one. Slow march of state troops will take out the other. I don't see how Grand Cathay wins this at this point. Look at this firing squad. Just standing next to Boris. Take pot shots at the Alchemist and then fuck off. Holy. Pigman doing a good job kiting with his Crane Gunners. Like, these guys have actually been doing fantastically. You just couldn't keep them up enough. It was a close game. And he's certainly a better Grand Cathay player than I am. I just have to wonder from a battlefield standpoint if he could have afforded one Longma Rider to help run down the Silver Bullets and the Herge Jaeger Corps and stuff, so these Hockland Long Rifles didn't come back. I don't know if that would have won him the game, because it's not like he was doing nothing, right? His Longma Riders that he peeled back killed Blood Penguin's Empire Knights that were diving his backline, so maybe in that theoretical I'm building, we lose this Crane Gunner, so you're trading a full health Crane Gunner for all these guys. Maybe that's true, but hindsight being 2020, and knowing that he lost the game, I wonder if it was more worth it to just give one Longma Rider to chasing off stuff. I don't know. That is pure hindsight, speculation, and what ifs, right? I thought he played it really well. He took a creative build. I don't know this matchup for shit, so I don't know. But he played pretty good. Blood Penguin with the win. Celestial General did all right. For Blood Penguin, Boris did nicely. He didn't pay for himself, but it was really that healing that got him through a lot of things. He could just take punishment over and over again, take several bad trades, because in this he got in a bad 1v1 while also surrounded by the Longmas, took a bunch of damage. The Longmas took a bunch of damage from the ranged support of the Empire assisting Boris. Then Boris could just fuck off and be a support lord for a while, and then he takes a big cav fight with the Celestial General and some Longma Riders versus his Empire Knights and Spearmen. He helps kill the Onyx Crowman, and then he fucks off, and he starts cycle charging infantry in the background, and then in the late game he comes back in and finishes off the Celestial General. That's perfect. That's just perfect Boris management. He's really good. You have to be coy with him. You can't just throw Boris in and be like, he'll win. It's like, nah, he needs to go all 12 rounds. Okay. Enough ranting. Enough being a stupid goober. Blood Penguin advances. He and Gotrek get to do Dwarves and Empire again. I think this was this the last faction war or 2 faction wars ago, where the finals was Empire Dwarves and it was Gotrek versus Blood Penguin. So they get their little rematch a lot sooner than the finals they were hoping for. Next up is Butcherbird and Ryder Vrohan. And then me versus Salinator. And then my Skaven schemes will be revealed. Cool. Butcherbird off of his best factions. He is a very, very good Wood Elf and Beastman main. But he picks some Warriors of Chaos for the faction war. Versus Ryder of Rohan, one of our guest invites. Great art maker for the Warhammer scene. Good dude. Been on some of my tier list videos and whatnot. Caster Man, how long do you think you'll stream today? As long as it takes me to get to the top 4 on this side of the bracket. So probably another hour and a half. Maybe an hour. Anyway, for Butcherbird, we have 4 Forsaken, then a bunch of Marauders in the front line, Gorby's Chariot, and the Rotting Riders. Rot Knight ROR. Shadows cast with Pit of Shades and Melkos, and then we have Valkia the Bloody with her Demon Shield and Spear Sopnir, and then 3 Hellstriders of Slanesh. Fast, anti-large, poison versus the High Elves. For the High Elves, we have Imric on a Star Dragon, then the Omen of Asurian Arcane Phoenix, so pretty heavy air monster squad. A Lion Chariot to counter the Gorby's Chariot. Definitely going to get into a chariot duel later, for sure. 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers, the Fireborn, 2 Spearmen, and then a Life Caster with Earthblood. This game pissed me off today. I'm so sick of the group hug bug. Yeah, that thing blows. They need to fix that fast. I know Anticity has been really harassing CA about getting that together. The Fireborn are having a bad time. They're killing a Hellstrider and I guess the Gorbeast Chariot, but they are also dying, and the Rotting Riders are going to get the one up on them. And actually, if the Fireborn die, like flat out die, the Rotting Riders will be free to do whatever they want in this battle. 4 Skirmish Cav can't stop them, and they're good at killing the single entities. But the Earthblood plus Omen of Assyrian plus Imric, yeah, he Lord of Dragons them. So all those stat debuffs make them run away. And the Fireborn are still on the chase. Melkoth's slowing them down, doing a little bit of damage. We don't have regrowth for them, so they will have to get Earthblooded over and over and over again, which is not looking likely, as these guys are actually about to rout. And if they rout, a basic Hellstrider could chase them off, so that is a bit of a disaster for the High Elves. Disaster for the Warriors of Chaos is the balance of power. Is already their Marauders and Hellstriders have taken a lot of damage. The Rotting Riders have taken damage as well. They have their own personal healing, so if they can just run away from the Omen of Assyrian and Imric for a little bit, get some healing back, they'll be okay. They'll be alright. They want to take a fight with the Lion Chariots of Krace, and I guess there is a problem. There's no reason for Imric and the Omen to ever fuck off. There's no halberds, there's nothing. So if they just keep attack moving onto the Rotting Riders, they'll be fine. Nice breath attack, too. Not going to hit the Omen of Assyrian, so good little roasting. Takes out a couple more models of the Rotting Riders. But yeah, they can path through Forsaken all day. They don't give a shit about it. The Omen of Assyrian and Imric aren't scared of that nonsense whatsoever. So they just need to kill the Rotting Riders and they'll be fine. Similar to how I was like, well, if you kill the Fireborn, the Rotting Riders will be fine. I thought that was true until I realized there's no infantry that matter. There's no halberds. Anyway, Rotting Riders get a decent charge on the Lion Chariots of Krace, but now they're having to fight those 2 big single entities. They'll be routing soon. In comes an Earthblood for Imric and the Omen of Assyrian. We still have some skirmish elements chasing off the Hellstriders, but this is mostly the spooky, scary Skybird and the spooky, scary Sky Dragon show. Get most of their damage out. Lion Chariots of Krace do provide good armor piercing. They're also just blocking in the Rotting Riders. Without the Rotting Riders, I don't know what the Warriors of Chaos can do about Imric. And the Omen of Assyrian, mostly Imric. Fireborn somehow not breaking ever because they're High Elves. Look at them, 33 leadership while at 200 HP. Skaven mains keep losing. I felt your pain in the RR tier list. I thought it would never end. I think you meant that as a compliment, but it definitely hurt my feelings. I was watching one of your videos and it just wouldn't fucking end. Alright, another Earthblood's out for the Fireborn. Balance power still favors the High Elves, and I would too. The only thing is, if Imric and the Omen of Assyrian get stuck just fighting infantry, like just fighting infantry, dragons are famously bad at clearing out infantry. Like if they just have to sit in them and grind, it'll be terrible. But if they can cycle charge, use breath attacks, the Omen of Assyrian can use his little butt tornadoes, they'll be okay at that. There's still a lot of Valyrian Reavers, still a lot of arrows. It's not like the dragons have to sit in melee and die. Order Dragons down on Valkia, giving her only 31 melee defense. Imric lands, Star Lance giving him a bunch of weapon strength. That's probably GG. Nice butt tornado, though unfortunately some spearmen walk into it. Butcherbird will surrender. Human Boy, how are ranged units working after the hotfix? About as well as they were working before the hotfix. Hey, Captain Teals. Yeah, not much change there. I don't know how ranged units got so jank, but they did. Makes me sad. Looking at it, the Omen of Assyrian and Imric got good value. Fireborn got roasted. And the Valyrian Reaper Archers did okay, but it was mostly these 2 single entities carrying. On the other side, Rotting Riders didn't get as much value as I'd hope. Forsaken did fine. They got some decent value, but yeah, GG. Leonard, that sounds like Dark Elf Executioners. If only they were a good unit. They have high leadership, but that is it. That is it in its entirety. Ryder of Rohan advances. Have we had a single bad guy beat a good guy? Hold on. Bad versus neutral, neutral wins. Bad versus bad, bad wins. Bad versus bad, like not faction is bad, like on the spectrum of good and evil factions, I guess I should say. So evil wins, evil versus evil, and then we have good versus good, good wins. Good versus bad, good wins. Good versus good, good wins. Good versus bad, good wins. What is this plot armor? This is bullshit. Alright, let's do it. Skaven Vampire counts. A D tier bullshit ass faction versus S tier super OP Skaven. Let's go. Night Runners! I love this build. I love this build. It's a great build. Night Runners! Me versus Salinator. Salinator taking Manny Manfred. Waiting to get into game here before I talk too much about what's going on. What do we have? For the Skaven, it's a Gracier with Howling Warp Gale, and then the dreaded 13th spell, plus Warpstone Scroll. We have a bunch of Clan Rats and Stormvermin Halberds for a front line that will never break. And then Night Runners, Night Runners, Night Runners. So we have 3 Night Runner slings, 5 Night Runner 360 shooting. And then we have 4 Rat Ogres and 2 Wolf Rats with poison. On the other side for the Vampire counts, we have Fellbats and Direwolves. We have Zombies. And then Manfred von Karstein in the back with Fate of Buna. What you gonna Fate of Buna, bitch? Nothing! You wanted to Fate of Buna the Natty Boobo sharpshooters, but they ain't in here. Oh well, you could just Fate of Buna some globes. That's also good. No globes, motherfucker. Oh well, you can Fate of Buna the Council Guard. No Council Guard either. What you gonna do when everything I took is just kind of mid-tier garbage? Fuck you, Manfred. Snipe nothing, you piece of shit. Anyway, whatever. At least you get to cast Gaze of Nagash on Ikit Claw. Oh, wait, it's a fucking Gracier on his bell, so half your projectiles are gonna miss for no reason, because I don't know, Gracier things. Then I have a spell resist. Fuck you again, Manfred. Fuck your spells. I'm a winner. Okay. Yeah, fuck that guy. Anyway. We have a Necromancer on a Corpse Cart with his Lesser Zombie Summon, his Forbidden Rod, and then, of course, his little Corpse Cart Aura, Crypt Horrors, and a Mortis Engine and Vargeists. We have 1 Black Knight with Lances and Barding, which I haven't seen that unit in forever. So, Night Runner Slingers. Gonna start throwing. Gonna try and take out the Corpse Cart first. I'm not worried about Clan Rats being able to beat Skeleton Warriors and Zombies. We just have to kill the Carts and the Crypt Horrors and the Mortis Engine. Fellbats are starting to move in. We have dogs to go after the enemy archers. Oh wait, whoopsie poopsie, it's Vampire counts. They don't have no archers. That's crazy. Then why bring dogs? Breath attack from Manfred, down my Night Runners. Does like a little over 1/3 their HP. It's pretty nice. And now the Night Runners still poking at that guy. Crypt Horrors have been kept out of range of my Night Runners. Soon I'll have to switch on to them as Clan Rats try and chase down zombies. My dogs are just vibing, because Skaven dogs can do a lot of damage to Vargeists or Fellbats in a counter charge. Bounce power slightly favoring the Skaven. In comes a Gaze of Nagash down the Stormvermin Halberds. Lots of damage. Really good cast angle there from Manfred, so appreciate that. Good job, Salinator. The Stormvermin front line's going nowhere fast. Crypt Horrors are starting to move in, and now we need to start falling back. Some of the Night Runners 360 shooting in there. Other Night Runners, one's going to stand their ground as the others fall back away from the zombies, and Rat Ogres are getting pushed up to do a little bit of peeling. And in comes some Black Knights, start to kite away from them, but not used to dealing with 110 armor and bronze shields Knights. More used to dealing with Blood Knights, honestly, as my Wolf Rats get ready to do something somewhere. Over here we have Clan Rats fighting next to Rat Ogres. Unholy Clamor is going to keep everybody in line, and the Gracier's bounce spells are going to clear out some zombies. But other Skeleton Warriors have been forced path through my front line to harass my Night Runners. Don't appreciate that. Out comes the dreaded 13th to kill Skeleton Warrior and summon Halberds to help me deal with the Crypt Horrors. Meanwhile, other Spears and Rat Ogres are trying to harass Manfred. And over here is an overcasted Invocation of Nehek to rout off my dogs with the help of those Black Knights and the Vargeist. But the Vargeist still taking a lot of damage even after getting healing. Night Runner is going to ignore the Skeleton Warriors as best they can and throw over here to help with the Crypt Horrors to free up some Rat Ogres to help me back out. And Stormvermin Halberds are getting Mortis Engine drained down, but the front line of the Vampire Counts, has taken a lot of damage, and Manfred summons more zombies on my Night Runners, who now need to split up and get out of there as more undead infantry are closing in on them. Elsewhere, my Wolf Rats are chasing Vargeists, just being a nuisance, keeping them on the ground with their little poison, while Night Runners get to throw at them. The Vargeists are just stuck running away and getting hit by my dogs. So we might be able to kill those guys soon. We will see. And if the Vargeist die, the Fellbats are also dying, so we no more flying bastards to keep chasing me around. Night Runner's trying to kite back. Vampire Count's front line continues to overwhelm. And now my halberds are almost done dealing with these zombies, and then they would be able to surround and kill the Mortis Engine pretty easily. Or the Necromancer, as we have Rat Ogre still dealing with all this Vampire Count's chaff. The last of the Fellbats finally dies and frees up some of my high ground units to get over here. Dreaded 13th Summon fades away, and we have secured that high flank. The Vargeists are dead, so my dogs can come back, and so can these Night Runners, these Night Runner slings. These goddamn Black Knights are running down a lot of my dudes. I don't like that. And my Night Runners aren't good at killing them because they're heavily armored and shit. Grr. So not a big fan of that. Blood Knights are just a bit more expensive, so this build would be narrower if we took Blood Knights. A Black Knight's relatively cheap. Manfred's being a nuisance. I do move my Grayseer in to just challenge him for a bit. I wanted to kind of keep him in place for my Night Runners who are closing in, but he ignores me, gets back in the sky like an asshole. We've almost killed the Necromancer. One of our halberds is terror routing, the other one's hanging in there. We've almost gotten rid of the zombies too, so we're starting to surround the Mortis Engine and get some decent damage out. We've killed almost all the zombies on the front line. Almost all of them. There goes the Necromancer, he is dead. My Night Runners continue to shoot at Manfred. The Black Knight's still going absolutely nuts in the back line. Wolf Rats can't do shit about that. Not a fan of those guys. Another zombie summon out from Manfred von Bitchstein to harass my Night Runners. As these Night Runners have been kiting away from this zombie summon forever, I don't really want to fight it because it's not worth the HP. Other Rat Ogres helping to clean up Blast of Skeleton Spearmen, and the Vampire Counts are getting down to just chaff, a Mortis Engine, and Manfred, which I guess that means they have half their fucking army. But still. Manfred's thinking about landing on my Grayseer. I immediately have my bodyguard Rat Ogres coming over, and he decides against it and leaves. Rat Ogre's going to chase the Mortis Engine down, but that might isolate them to a rear charge from Manfred, which would be bad, so that would be a mistake if they go that far. It looks like that will be a mistake. I have some Night Runners shatter because they weren't able to stay far enough away from the zombies, and my Rat Ogres turn and fight Manfred for a bit. I think I'm trying to get my Grayseer over here for a bit of leadership, but they terror out away from Manfred and the Mortis Engine. We've rallied some Night Runners away from those skeleton spears. That is a zombie summon. That is a zombie summon. That is a full health Black Knight. Real units on this map, we have a Black Knight and then these two things. That's it. Those zombies will eventually go away. Eventually being the key fucking word, because they last forever. Rat Ogres peel for my Grayseer, and then they start to run away. Now that there's another zombie summon out, I use Howling Warp Gale to just keep Manfred here. I was just trying to bait out another fucking summon. He has to be running out eventually, I told myself, and he has like 700! So I throw down the dreaded 13th underneath him. The explosion damage actually does do a lot to Manfred, and now we have a bunch of halberds. I throw in my my goddamn Rat Ogres, and then I cast a Scorch down the middle. Scorch will do more damage to zombies than my armored Storm Vermin, and we're getting a ton of damage down onto Manfred. He's taking so much. I can see his healing cap. He even has to overcast Invocation to hack himself as he paths through all these halberds, and the Mortis Engine is surrounded by halberds, but the Terror Routes take out my Rat Ogres as the Night Runners and other Rat Ogres are trying to rally. Now we still have a Black Knight in the distance. That zombie summon still has 17 seconds on it. We do have some Night Runners back. Night Runner's going to shoot at Manfred as he throws that Gaze of Nagash at them. How much is that going to do? A little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Mortis Engine is near its heal cap. Manfred's heal cap is in sight, but still has quite a bit of room to go. These Storm Vermin are just trying to get their vigor back, and they're like, please, Mortis Engine, don't touch me. And the Mortis Engine says, okay. Goodbye. Have some Rat Ogres trying to keep Manfred in the sky, and he summons another fucking zombie on my goddamn Night Runners. He has two more. Where are all these fucking zombies coming from? And they last forever. Okay, I'm over it. I'm moving on. Alright, so we have to wade through another summon. My Night Runners run away from the summon. Again, like all the Night Runners have been doing all game. We have another full health Night Runner that's been harassing these Black Knights, but the Black Knights are going to just take out my Rat Ogres. So now, we're stalling. This Night Runner is totally dead, so I tell them to just stand and fight the Mortis Engine, because it'll outrun them over time, and whatever. So, they get a couple volleys off to do a little bit of damage. We're kiting out the zombies. I'm fighting them with basic clan rats at this point, keeping the Night Runners safe. And the Night Runners are actually going to stop and take a shot at the Mortis Engine. Again, just trying to poke it a little bit as it's trying to just kite me out and heal. 50-50 on the balance of power. Black Knights will not want to fight with my Halberds or Rat Ogres. There goes that zombie summon. I kill that one. I don't even wait for it to get all the way through its thing. So we have a lot of spears left. We have Halberds. We have a caster. I'm not scared of the Black Knights. The Mortis Engine is a problem. Manfred is way over there, so I throw some monstrous infantry at it. They can get some decent damage out and try and hold it in place while the Night Runners get some damage. But then seeing Manfred coming over, I am going to back off with one of my Rat Ogres to try and keep Manfred honest and have the other Rat Ogre pin down the Mortis Engine. They are getting drained a little bit, but that's just going to be the cost of doing business as they get good damage out and the Night Runners. And he fucking summons again! Stop it! You stop it! He still has one more! Ah! Night Runners kite away from the summon as the Clan Rats close in and try and keep it in place. The Mortis Engine is healing, and I use my Rat Ogres to fall back. I see the rear charge coming, and I Howling Warp Gale his ass while I run to safety. As he fires a gaze and a gash out of his ass, he didn't even turn around. And the Black Knights charge into Halberds and Clan Rats. Rat Ogre's also getting involved, but he is starting to commit to the final fight. Gonna get his Mortis Engine in here, and he's trying to drain down my Halberds. I try and peel it away with the Grey Seer and the Rat Ogres. Keep it away from the Halberds. They're already wounded enough. They don't need your Mortis Engine bullshit. And another Scorch. That one's going to do more friendly fire than good, so that's a bit of a whoopsie, a classic Skaven self-own. But the Mortis Engine's getting nice and low. I have a Grey Seer buffing up the Storm Vermin's leadership and melee attack to try and finish this thing off once and for all. And there is the Unholy Clamor to keep these guys in the fight, but the Rat Ogres tear out anyway, you cowardly fucks! And the balance of power turns against the Skaven as they go through the Zombie Summon. And hey, what's that? Did somebody say Zombie Summon? There's another fucking Zombie Summon! But it's the last one. He's out of goddamn Zombie Summons after that one. The Mortis Engine's super low, super close to dead. And as we've established this with Dragon Lords, they hate clearing infinite infantry. So if we can just hold on, if we can just kill the fucking Mortis Engine and hold on, we can rally all the troops around the Grey Seer. These spears will actually poke the shit out of Manfred because he's not that great of a melee combatant. Manfred passed through, somehow hits the Grey Seer, even though that charge attack didn't physically make contact with me, but that's whatever, that's fine, bro. As the Rat Ogres are all routing, things are starting to fall apart as the Skaven Halberds are terror routing. Manfred charges past the Grey Seer again, who's just running around in circles trying to keep his units in it, and then they all start fucking terror routing! Get back here, you assholes! As Manfred gets another charge attack onto the Grey Seer, there's still the Black Knights that are coming in for a rear charge. One last Howling Warp Gale to keep Manfred in place and try and get the Grey Seer to safety as I'm trying to path him through the zombies, but the zombies are blocking him up. Meanwhile, the Black Knights get an invocation and hack on top of Clan Rat Spears. Mortis Engine is heal capped. Manfred is heal capped. It doesn't look like it's going to matter, as the Rat Ogres and the Halberds are too low to actually kill the Mortis Engines, and the Mortis Engine's last 2,000 HP is probably going to drain all my guys to shit. 154 people watching? Impressive. Hell yeah, it's Faction War, brother. It's Faction War, brother. Fate the Ogres? No, Fate Abina doesn't do much damage to Rat Ogres at all. That's a GG. How much Winds of Magic does Manfred get? He gets a ton. Because the Necromancer had a Forbidden Rod that gives him some Winds of Magic reserves. And then he has the Sword of Unholy Power, which gives him Winds of Magic reserves whenever he's in melee. It was a good game. It was a very good game from Salinator. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Honestly, so here's the thing. Honestly, his build was really good. I love this one Black Knight inclusion. I think that's really smart. I just thought, I thought it was actually game winning that he took that, because it's just not something my build can deal with. And again, I know the skeptics out there are going to say, but Blood Knights, here's the thing. I was ready for Blood Knights because of what Blood Knights do to your build contextually. To get from this Black Knight to a Blood Knight, he would have to cut 2 Skeleton Warriors. Do you know how much of that game, or both Fellbats, do you know how much of that game was me clearing out skeletons? How many times I said my Rat Ogres are trying to get somewhere, but they had to kill skeletons first because they got stuck in them? Or how many skeletons just walked past the front line and got onto my Night Runners and made me keep running backwards? The amount of skeletons was important. So I was like, if I practiced this build against Blood Knight builds, and the problem is there weren't enough infantry from the vampire counts to disrupt my Night Runners and the Night Runner slings, so I would attrition them. The one cheap Black Knight was so hard to kill because I just couldn't deal with him with my little 360 Night Runners, so he was shutting all those guys down. My Wolf Rats were made for peeling Vargeists, which they did very well, but they're not made for peeling that, so I just didn't have any answers for that. And again, you might be like, well, you don't have any answers for Blood Knights. I do. If he has less infantry, my Night Runners are more free to just shoot the Mortis Engine and shoot Manfred. If the Blood Knights want to come get me, then fuck it, come get me, bro. But, yeah, and I had the Dreaded 13th summon. But it felt bad to burn a Dreaded 13th on a Black Knight, and also he kept his Black Knight way off in fuck knows where, so I couldn't even use a Dreaded 13th on it. So this Black Knight was actually clutch. It was a very good use of the Black Knight, and I think he played it fantastically. So. It's less... I think it's much less build roulette and like, wow, I just didn't see a Black Knight coming, and I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that was really clever, and yeah, like a lot. The rest of this build is pretty standard for what vampire counts bring. It's largely what I was expecting. It's just that Black Knight fucked with a lot of what I was doing. So yeah. G's brother. Rat Ogres did great. 360 Night Runners did their jobs. The 450 Night Runners also did their jobs. Which is what's so frustrating about thinking about this build in the aftermath. I was talking to Salinator a bit about it. And I'll shut up. I'll move on. But I was talking to Salinator a bit about it, and it's like, God, like, there's a reason for everything in my build. It's just not like, oh, just cut these because they're bad and grab something to counter the Black Knight. It's like, oh man, I'd have to rethink this whole build because I need everything here. The halberds are important for holding Crypt Horrors back and winning the front line. Because I need to win the front line if I have these Night Runners, because I need them to keep shooting. And I can't retreat. Retreating versus vampire counts is very hard, because they have Black Knights or Blood Knights or Vargeists or Fellbats or Dogs. So I need to win the front line to have somewhere for my slings to put their backs to. So, yeah. GG, Salinator. Well done, brother. It was a very fun game. Very fun. Boom! That's round one. And we're over halfway done with the stream today? I believe so, because you get cut in half every round. But let's get back up to it. Slaanesh and Ogre Kingdoms. Flying Taco and Anti-Kaiju. Can Anti-Kaiju stop the Ogre Tide? No, I need to only click on Faction War Round 2 stuff. Yes, that is Anti-Kaiju versus Flying Taco. You didn't want to bring Flensing Ruin because of healing? I didn't want to bring Flensing Ruin because Ikit Claw is super weak to Gaze and Nagash. Literally, 2 Overcast Gaze and Nagashes puts him at 1/3 HP and then he routes. So at the start of the game, when I was like celebrating, it's because I made his Fate of Buna and Gaze and Nagashes worthless. Ikit and the Doomwheel casters are all crazy weak to Gaze and Nagash. Because Flensing Ruin is good versus vampire counts, but I couldn't find a caster that could reliably use it without dying. And the Greyseer did great. I really liked the Greyseer. He was tanky, he survived to the very end of the game. He did awesome. But let's stop talking about that game. Let's talk about this game. This game! Slaanesh versus Ogre Kingdoms. 4 Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh on the flanks. Then we have 4 Seekers and a front line of Forsaken with Azazel in the sky. He brought Phantasmagoria and Lash. No Rampage. On the other side, for the Ogre Kingdoms, we have Golgi's Man-Eaters with a front line of Noblars, some Piggyback Riders, Saber-Tusk Packs, Ogre Bulls, a Deathcaster with Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech, and then, of course, the Thunder Tusk. Forsaken frontline would win against just Noblars, but you don't get to just fight Noblars. You have to fight whatever the hell that thing is. And already the Forsaken are going to rout. In comes Phantasmagoria. This actually could be a really good catch, as the net is down on the Goldpigs, Man-Eaters, and the Thunder Tusk. Seekers getting in there, getting a lot of damage out, terrorizing the Noblars, and these other Ogre Bulls can't join the fight because of the AoE net, but the net is already worn off, and the Seekers only got half HP off the Man-Eaters, only got a little bit of HP off the Thunder Tusk, and now they're in some trouble as more Seekers dive in to try and help out. That could be a key fight. Looking elsewhere, just so I don't get distracted by just covering one aspect of the battle, it does look like Slaanesh is winning the left-hand engagement, but the center and the right is going very well for the Ogre Kingdoms, who are already taking lead on the balance of power. A Lash of Slaanesh is out for a little bit of damage, but mostly wanted to pop that Slaanesh army passive. No, he doesn't have that. Slash is actually just for damage. Weird. Normally you see that spell with the Slaanesh army passive thingy, where it's like plus 12 melee attack or whatever. Forsaken are still trying to butcher Piggyback Riders where they can as Marauder Horsemen. That flag is getting caught up. The actual unit is way over here, so we still have a lot of skirmish cav, but they're being zoned by the Ogre Kingdom, so this whole melee fight is happening without the ranged pressure of Slaanesh being able to help out. Azazel's still going after the Thunder Tusk. He is getting decent damage down in conjunction with the Seekers, but there's still a lot of Man-Eaters around. That one's at 3rd HP, that one's at roughly below half. So still a lot of expensive, good at melee ogres. And that Thunder Tusk is actually getting whooped on. I don't know if it's the Seekers or Azazel who's doing all that. It looks like it's a little bit of the Marauder Horseman of Slaanesh as well. Magic damage, not armor-piercing damage. Still get blocked by a lot of what the Thunder Tusk is doing. Slaanesh is in trouble. Their Forsaken frontline is all but spent, which is really bad, because that's a lot of money you put into that front line, only for it to lose to ogres anyway, with their cheap Piggyback Riders, Noblars, and then the Man-Eaters are pretty expensive, but Piggyback Riders definitely trade up. what they should do. And there's a meat feast, probably sealing the death knell of Slaanesh. All that effort put into trying to snipe out this big single entity, and then it just heals from a tier 3 army ability. Goddamn. Alright, Taco has Fate of Buna. I wonder if he bothers to Fate of Buna one of the skirmish cav to just get this game to end faster, if he's going to spam Spirit Leech on Azazel. Considering how far ahead he is, I would just Fate of Buna one of the healthy Marauder Horsemen and call it a game. Because there's no hope here. Slaanesh is surrounded. Azazel is stuck in between the tusks of the Thunder Tusk. Saber Tusk packs and Man-Eaters nearby. There's no hope for that little Slaanesh Lord. And he is going down. Did you get eliminated? Yes, I did. Mr. Undead, how would you feel about an undead kobold faction? What the heck is that? What are kobolds? Are they like goblins? How's the faction war going? Good games? Overall, good games. A stinker here or there, but a really good ratio of good games. Yeah, Azazel and the Seekers were not able to fully snipe out the Thunder Tusk, and then that's the danger. I mean, you have to. Thunder Tusk is very powerful for a reason, but that's the danger of dealing with ogre big single entities. If you don't kill them entirely, they have so much access to healing that they'll just instantly heal it up. GG from Kaiju. Good attempt on Flying Taco. But Taco will advance, barreling towards top 4. Next up is Sipa versus Dactor. Dark Elves and Wood Elves. That's not it. That's not it either. That's not it. But wait, that's not it. Yeah, it's that one. Whatever. Fine. Whatever. No, it's fine. We got Sipa versus Dat Boy. Dat Boy is Dactor. Dat Boy! Taco not a Lizardman? Nah, he's an Ogre's main now. Undead need a DLC. Kobolds are like lizard goblins, kind of like skinks. Oh, that'd be spooky. Would this faction be led by Lord Croak because he's already an undead lizard? Okay, that take you back to the good screen. You're back on the good screen. We're back into the game. 4 Doomfire Warlocks, 4 Dark Riders, 4 Dark Shards, all with shields, and then Black Ark Corsairs and Bleak Swords. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows with her Melkoth Mystifying Miasma. Now, I want to slow this down because I just want to talk about one thing quick, and the game is already happening. You remember Tequila Sunset versus Dactor earlier? Lizardmen versus Wood Elves, and how I said it sucks for the Lizardmen in this matchup because all of their cav is armor piercing, but there's not a lot of armor to pierce on the Wood Elves. There's some here and there, but not a lot. I think that's what Sipa's leaning into here, is he grabbed 8 light cavalry and didn't waste any of his time on cold ones because their armor piercing is worthless. But now he's using Doomfire Warlocks who have higher stats but just no armor piercing, which versus Wood Elves will be fine. He also, of course, has the bound spells. So, just a little tech piece. Thought I'd mention that because it circles back to what we were talking about earlier. For Dactor, we have a very wide Wood Elf army. A bunch of Glade Guards, some with Starfire Shafts, some without. A Turtle Guard front line backed up by a couple Dryads sprinkled throughout the formation, and then some Glade Rider Spears and Drycha. But this Wood Elf army, nice and broad, has a bunch of units, a lot of damage. It does not have good cavalry. I am very concerned how these Wood Elves are going to stop 8 light cav from running straight at you when they only have 3 light cavalry of their own. Drycha apparently brought Pendulum. What else did you bring? Pendulum, Melkoths, and Enfeebling Foe. Gotcha. Sipa wastes no time, throws Dark Riders in to stop some of the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. They are going to take damage from the Eternal Guard, but he's trying to use his Dark Riders to just stop damage from coming towards him. Elsewhere, Dactor's Dryads and Glade Riders catch the Doomfire Warlocks. They'll lose that fight, but they're just trying to hold. They're buying time for the Hagbane Tips and the Starfire Shafts to fire in. And all of these are magic damage, so the physical resistance of the Doomfire Warlocks will not help them against any of the archers that were brought by Dactor. The Dark Shards move in. They'll lose the fight with the Glade Guard in a pure dueling sense, you know, archer to archer, but currently they're going to get free shots in because there's all this light cav. So far, Dactor is actually doing a good job of peeling back Sipa's light cav. It was 8 versus 3. We've already seen 3 Dark Elf cav routing. at the cost of 1 Wood Elf Cav. So far, Dactor is doing what he needs to. He is losing some archers here and there. This archer got too close to the frontline fight and is now not in an effective spot. And some of the Dryads are actually pushing back the enemy frontline, including the Malevolent Dryad summoned from Drycha. So the Wood Elves holding their backbones in the front is helping a lot, that the Wood Elves don't have to deal with a crumbling frontline as well. Some Glade Guard are dying, but when you take like 8, you can sacrifice a few. Other Dark Riders still getting into that backfield. These Glade Riders trying to fight Doomfire Warlocks. They will slowly lose that fight. Bounce power is dead even. But the Wood Elves are starting to crumble a little bit. There's less and less things between them and danger as these Glade Guard end up next to a rock formation. They have to refigure it out and fire. Another one's going to get hit with the Doom Bolt. Tightly packed Elven formations means big damage when meteors hit you. Yeah, lots of damage there. As the Dark Elves start to pull ahead, I would definitely agree. We are down to 1 Glade Rider, and it is taking a lot of damage. There's only 2 healthy archers left. All the others are either so tattered they're not doing that much damage, or they are currently routing. Looks like the dam is breaking, and the Dark Elves are probably going to take this one from this point, if I had to just guess. Bounce power isn't to that point yet, but just looking at the battlefield, there's less and less things to keep these Glade Guard online. Glade Guard trying to save themselves as they annihilate a Doomfire Warlock remnant that was coming up on the flank. Somehow these guys hang in there. I guess it's murderous prowess. God damn, dude, just route! What is wrong with you? So the Doomfire Warlocks get in despite how low they got. Other Doomfire Warlocks also hanging on, fighting full health Blade Guard. Drycha is still very healthy. And I like this. I like when the Dark Elves just ignore Drycha. Focus killing everything else. You can kill Drycha in the late game. Murderous Prowess and Murderous Mastery finally wears off, making these Doomfire Warlocks more mortal. They might actually rout now. Or not. Or not. Okay. Or not. Fuck it. Fuck it, I guess. Yep. That's fine. That's fine. Just fight to the end. Fuck it. Nothing ever routs. Nothing dies. It's okay. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's fine. I'll just play my Scave and that route at the nearest sign of trouble, and you guys can just have your elves that never break. That's okay. It's fine. I'm not mad. I've moved on. I've accepted my lot in life. Melkoth's onto the Dark Riders, trying to peel them off, but I don't know. We're about to get into the Dwarf late game, but with Drycha, where you just have a bunch of Dark Shards spread out. And shoot at Drycha from different angles, and whoever she runs at, they run away, and the other one shoot her in the back while she runs after him. Nice Soul Blight, reducing armor and a little bit of damage. Not that there's that much armor to reduce, but might as well. Sipa should be able to take out this last Glade Guard with the final charge of the Doomfire Warlocks. In they go. And a couple of them die. I'm really surprised these Glade Guard are hanging on. Drycha doesn't give extra leadership for Fanatical Resolve, it's just melee attack. There we go. Now they're gonna rout. Now they're gonna rout? Bruh! Just fuck off! Elves versus elves makes me so salty I don't get any leadership. As the Dark Shards try and hit Drycha, they're actually hitting their own Blackheart Corsairs more often than not, because she's a teeny tiny little tree in a pile of a bunch of stinky men. You're still firing. Oh, God. Okay. Dactor surrenders before the horrible friendly fire was about to come in, but that's appropriate. You can complain about your low leadership faction, but I cry when I compare my units' prices to yours. Yeah. This is a Malding Skaven main take, and I know that, and that's fine. But I actually think that Dark Elves are better than Skaven overall. I think Dark Elves are underappreciated, because they've been doing very well in tournaments recently. I don't think they're OP. That's the thing. I don't think they're OP. But I do think they're better than a lot of people give them credit for. They're not in the conversation with, like, Ogres, Demons of Chaos, and Dwarves. But I do think they're in the conversation for, like, 5th best faction or lower. I don't know. There's some Dark Elf mains who still say... I actually don't know if Sipa's one of them. Sipa's usually not an apologist. He's usually like, yeah, my factions are strong. But anyway, there are some people that are like, Dark Elves are bad, and then I see Dark Elves in every tournament, and their win rate is about 60-40, and I'm like, are they bad? Are they bad and everyone just agreed to keep playing them anyway, or what are we doing here? Moving on. We have Gotrek Starbreaker versus Blood Penguin, Empire and Dwarves. Grab some snacks, y'all. It's going to be a long one. Is it? Maybe. Maybe. Empire Dwarves can either be really fast or really not fast. Because if you get into that late game where the Empire has cavalry and ranged units left, and the ranged units obviously have more speed than Dwarven ranged units, you just get into like... The cav charge in while the archers run away, the archers turn around and fire while the cav runs away, and then the cav runs in while the archer runs away, and the dwarves just get slowly attrition down. But that's if you can get to that late game state. Obviously, if the dwarves win the game, they just murder the shit out of you. Darkos are very versatile. Versatile. Alright. I hit the slow button because the dwarves went mass vanguard. We have miners and miners with blasting charges all deployed the vanguard. Brotherhood of Grimnir, rangers with great weapons, rangers regular, rangers with great weapons, rangers regular. And then Ulthar's raiders, the Grim Delvers, slayers, 2 gyrocopters, 1 has brimstone guns? Yes, just 1 has brimstone guns. We have a basic lord and then a dragon slayer. The dragon slayer brought only foe seeker. Now, I have played actually this matchup with Gotrek before. He took a slightly different build, but the rangers with great weapons murder Empire cavalry, and that's what he was talking to me about, so we'll see what he does with those. For Blood Penguin, we have great swords, which are amazing versus dwarves, and then swordsman frontline. No spears here, no reason to have them. 1 outrider with grenade launchers, 2 hawk and long rifles, the silver bullets, because Blood Penguin can't not take those guys, and double knights of Black Rose. Balthasar Gelt has Searing Doom and Final Transmutation. Alright, let's get it. This is Silver Bullet shoot at unshielded miners. The miners are going to delete some swordsmen real quick. Right and proper as they do. In come the Knights of the Black Rose. Now let's see if they're about to get Ranger gaming. Looks like the great weapons aren't quite in range to deal with those guys yet. Nice Searing Doom down the line, but Gotrek's going to dodge it. Has some miners take the damage for him instead. I like how he dodged with the Rangers and then just left the miners to their fate. Fuck you, miners, apparently. Other rangers got in range of the Hawk and Long Rifles. Hawk and Long Rifles, unlike Giselles and unlike Crane Gunners, don't actually have silver shields, so they are completely at the mercy of this ranger fire. And in comes the Grim Delvers. If you watch the Dwarven build guide I made with Gotrek, he did mention this unit. He loves to just put them as like anti-cavalry landmines. They just walk up. I think they're stalked, right? Yeah, they have stalk, and all of a sudden they appear and your cavalry take a massive volley. And then you usually want to back the fuck off. Ulthar's Raiders and the Grim Delver's going to turn. And this is about what my Empire Cav faced when they're fighting Gotrek, marked by Ulthar. They're so helpless. Run! Run, my pretties! But that 1200 gold Cav did not run. They died. Down to half HP, and it looks like they're going to take even more damage after that. The Hawk and Long Rifle's getting shot. Meanwhile, we have gyrocopters with brimstone guns running around, just distracting Gelt, I guess. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't thrown them into melee with the Hawk and Long Rifles, just to use them as dog units. The dwarves are ahead on the balance of power, as his Stalk's armor-piercing missile traps did work and baited Blood Penguin into 2 ill-advised charges versus with his Knights of the Black Rose, who just took a ton of damage. So that's just good old-fashioned sneaky dwarf tactics. Rangers and the gyrocopters trying to take out the Outriders, since the Outriders are one of the biggest threats left to the dwarves here. Fast, really good damage versus infantry units, just doesn't want those around. But the silver bullets make his gyrocopters regret it. They're retreating with very little HP. As Slayers run down the Hawk and Long Rifles, they are faster. They should catch those guys. Miners, not fast enough, won't catch them. Brotherhood of Grimnir, try and kill the silver bullets. Go, cleave, my painted glowing dwarves. Grenade launchers are trying to help out, but they are getting shot during this, so it looks like they'll be routing themselves. And the Brotherhood of Grimnir have a low model count, meaning grenades don't hurt them as much. Balance of power doesn't show how pessimistic I am on the Empire's chances at this point. The Grim Delvers are still alive and firing away in square formation into routing greatswords. So these guys should be safe and fine. Gyrocopters getting sniped out by the Hawk and Long Rifles. This is quite good. That's fine. So Dragon Slayer chase down the Silver Bullets. Silver Bullets are going to shatter at this point. No more threat from them. The Outriders should rally. Here we go. This is what I thought the Gyrocopters would be doing, is just being like flying dogs. Immediately charging the Hawk and Long Rifles, stop them from firing for a little bit. As the Slayers finish chasing down the other Long Rifles. Grenades getting chucked at our little Slayer friends. Am I winning? Yeah, Jeremy, you're winning. Is that Tretch on the dwarf side? Are Steam Tanks still banned? I don't honestly remember. Taco. No, I don't think they are. Taco, I don't think they are. We'd have to check the Vermin League limits. I don't know that offhand. I know he unbanned some stuff after it took several nerfs. I think the Steam Tank was one of them. Do people still hate gyros? Yeah, I think people just don't like the concept of gyrocopters. Fast, heavily armored skirmish units that fly is never a recipe for this is a fun unit people are going to enjoy. I don't think it matters if they're good or not. I think the Steam ones are still good. I think the Brimstone Guns ones suck. Personally. But yeah, people hate gyrocopters for a lot of reasons, not always because they're overpowered. Sometimes things are just a bad idea to put in a video game. I see you have a fantasy setting. Allow us to introduce attack helicopters. Are they priced appropriately? Do they cost a couple thousand gold? No. They're cheaper than Plague Monks. I think now they're 700, so now they're slightly more expensive than Plague Monks. Whoop-de-fucking do. Says a lot that after several nerfs, they're such good units. Yeah, it's true. The Grim Delvers fighting back against the Empire's Knights of Black Rose. I am kind of surprised Blood Penguin hasn't thrown in the towel at this point. A lot of your bounce power is coming from a full health Gelt, which doesn't matter. Like, Gelt is a caster. His HP doesn't matter as long as he's still alive. Ooh! The dwarves get caught on each other! He tried to dodge the Searing Doom, but they all just stood around and blocked each other's field of movement. That's a hilarious way to take a bunch of damage for no reason, but it looks like the Grim Delvers will get their vengeance on Gelt for his betrayal, as Gelt tries to land on him to prevent that damage from coming in, but that should free up the gyrocopters. Not that they have much left to do. Everything for the Empire is routing besides Gelt. And this is why I'm like, Penguin, why haven't you surrendered yet? Because Gelt can't even kill the Grim Delvers in melee. Maybe he's just waiting for another Searing Doom, but what's your plan after that? How are you going to kill the Dragon Slayer? How are you going to kill the Lord? How are you going to kill all these miners? Base materials tabletop? Yeah. Just saying. Gyrocopters probably aren't that good in tabletop because you have turn order and stuff. There's no turn order in this game, so you could just move them and dodge everything all the time. For Gotrek, it was a very well-constructed build. The Vanguard Miners put the Empire on the back foot. Of course, Miners blasting charges are always good. They kill a lot of state troops quickly. And the Grim Delver traps for the cavalry was fantastic. Amazing value for those guys. Gyrocopters were as annoying as usual. Not carrying the game, just being annoying, as Blood Penguin tried to chase them with Gelt all game. Grenade launchers did okay. Knights of Black Rose got tricked and trapped by sneaky dwarves. And then Hawk and Long Rifles did their best. They also land after each round? Oh. Yeah, no, that's not a thing in Warhammer. Now, some of you astute viewers might see that there's a Faction War Round 3 and there's no other Faction War Round 3. And if you do basic maths, you'll look at this and be like, wait a second. There should be 2 Round 3 games because we'll have Dwarves versus Blank and Dark Elves versus Ogres. Just a heads up that Taco and Sipa have not been able to link up schedule-wise. And then Sipa went on vacation, which is allowed. I'll allow it. But, yeah. So we're going to loop that into the Final 4. So the Final 4 day will actually be Final 5. It'll be Sipa versus Taco to determine who fights in the top 4, and then we'll do the top 4. That'll be fine, because the top 4 day is, we have 2 live best of 1s and then a live best of 3. The whole stream takes like an hour and a half. So throwing one more best of 1 on there, it's like, oh no, it's an hour and 45 minutes. So, yeah. There's no pick and ban phase because everybody knows what faction they're playing. So it's just kind of make your build and hit start. I got to figure out when we're casting that. We have some schedule conflicts, so we'll figure it out. I think. I hope. Possibly. Cool. Cool. So we have 2 games left to cast. We have Ryder of Rohan versus Salinator, and then whoever wins that versus Gotrek to see who gets into top 4. Let's do this. Salinator on the Vampire Counts versus Ryder of Rohan on the High Elves. They're both in chat. Sipa is not at home. All right, here we go. This matchup is generally considered very terrible for vampire counts. There's a deadly Phoenix Guard blob you can do with High Elves that's pretty impactful. So we'll see what the players do. Now, thankfully for our viewers, we are not getting the blob from the High Elves. We're getting quadruple Shadow Walker Kite, not even Shadow Warrior. Triple White Lion of Krace, one of which is the Pure Main Company. We have a Metal Caster with Plague of Rust and Starwood Staff, and then we have Tequila with Flock of Doom and Net, and then a bunch of Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers. Not even Dragon Princes. That is a wild High Elf build. I love it. On the other side, we have Skeleton Warriors and Zombies. We do have a Necromancer, of course. Blood Knights. And what is this? Oh, ho, 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 ho! Very nice Gaze of Nagash cast from the Blood Dragon Lord. Anyway, yes, we have the Kunigstein Stalkers, a bunch of Vargeist, a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord with Gaze of Nagash, Zombie Summon, and Invocation Heck. And then we have a second Terrorgeist. This is because of the Phoenix Guard box that can happen. He needs as many breath attacks as possible. And now that he doesn't need those breath attacks, I think he will be not happy that he has a Terrorgeist. The Plague of Rust lowers the armor significantly of the Blood Knights. They still have the Flag of Blood Keep, giving them missile resistance when out of melee combat, and they have bronze shields, but they're still trying to dodge because 4 Shadow Walkers is a lot of damage to deal with. Vargeist need to be pulled in soon. It looks like Salinator's micro is getting taxed a little bit with how much is going on at the same time. He's having issues dodging with his Blood Knights while also moving in all of his forces at once. We do have a Forgotten Terrorgeist. Now it's getting movement orders, so it won't be forgotten for too long. After the initial really good Gaze of Nagash, the Shadow Walkers are still dealing a lot of damage. This Vargeist starting at half HP. It is having to dive in, and it'll get countercharged by Silver Helms quite quickly as another one gets netted in place. Blood Dragon Lord's trying to peel for it a little bit with a breath attack as the Terrorgeist lands in onto Tequila, but that net is still going to lead to an almost dead Vargeist before it even gets to land as the Terrorgeist piles into some Silver Helms. These are not Dragon Princes. The Silver Helm isn't nearly as worried, but 2 Vargeist taking that much damage this early is quite concerning. Now, where are the Blood Knights, and how will they get involved? They're still trying to get over here. They were dodging arrows, and now it looks like they move in now that the arrows are focused on the Vargeist, but it's tough. Now, I shouldn't count chickens before they've died, but the Vargeists are getting very low, and I know the vampire counts can do all that healing, and, oh, never count them out until they're dead, human boy, because you thought you killed Manfred, and then he didn't die, and then he healed a bunch. Yeah, sure, but these Vargeists look pretty fucking dead, which leaves us with just a Blood Knight and a bunch of infantry. Makes me concerned. This is not making me concerned, though, as Tequila's getting his ass handed to him by the Blood Dragon Lord. He's gonna rout. Does he shatter? Oh, can you get back up in the sky? Honestly, he's healing with Potion of Koroi. As soon as that 40% damage resist wears off, you need to overcast a Gaze of Nagash, I think. Ooh, you're a little faster. You might catch him. I don't know. You might catch him. As the Shadow Walkers try and peel the Blood Dragon Lord, Tequila is getting taken out. Now, the High Elves have another caster, but losing your Lord would be a really good leadership spike right now that the Vampire Counts could honestly use to stay in this game. All of their Vargeists are officially dead. It is a Blood Knight and a Terrorgeist versus the world. For the Shadow Walkers, oh, they're doing so much damage. Holy fuck, their range. They have 180 range. This poor Blood Dragon Lord can't catch up. Tequila is getting away. He's outpacing him. You might want to overcast Gaze of Nagash just to keep him routing, maybe kill him. I don't know, but he is catching back up. He is going to get Tequila off the battlefield, maybe. But man, the Blood Dragon Lord took a lot of damage. I know he can heal, but still, ooey owie. Feels like some dowie. Bounce powers against the vampire counts, but not by a ton, considering how much they can normally heal this shit off. Tequila goes off the battlefield once and for all. That should lead to some of the High Elves being easier to kill. Easier? Doing a lot of work in that sentence because they're High Elves and their leadership is fantastic. Scroll of Shielding from the Necromancer trying to keep the Blood Knights safe. They are in melee, so they lose that missile resist from the Flag of Blood Keep. 20% missile resist when out of melee, so now the Shadow Walkers want to get good shots in on them. Blood Dragon Lord is moving in too, though. This is going to be an important sandwich. Can the Blood Knights and the Blood Dragon Lord stop some Shadow Walkers? That Shadow Walker is routing, but this one, because it's like, they're not shooting at the Blood Dragon Lord, they're shooting at the Blood Knights. A lot of blood going around. Shooting at the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights died, but that allowed the Blood Dragon Lord to approach. Terrorgeist terror routs the Metal Caster, and Silver Helms are terror routing. Silver Helms are terror routing all over the place. Blood Dragon Lord's trying to get in there. Needs an Invocation and Heck. Does use a Zombie Summon to muck up some of this. He needs to land, though. He needs to land, and the Terrorgeist needs to rout off that other Shadow Walker. They've got to work together. He shatters the Metal Caster. There's no more casting for the High Elves. Terrorgeist, fuck her! Get the Shadow Walkers that are killing your Lord! Also, Lord, land on the Shadow Walkers! Or Invocation and Heck yourself. Do something, man! Do something to save yourself! The Terrorgeist gets onto one of the Shadow Walkers. Another Shadow Walker has rallied in the distance, but the Blood Knights are gone. We just have some random bullshit chaff units and a Necromancer. The Shadow Walkers are free and clear to kite as much as they want, and this one has a lot of ammunition, but not a lot of leadership. I think it's routed twice, so it might actually just shatter. I don't know about that. Can the Blood Dragon Lord withstand the last of the ammunition? Can the Terrorgeist get out of whatever the fuck this is? Can it get out of this, get back up in the air, and shatter the Shadow Walker that has all the ammunition? If you can do that, if this can get into the air and shatter that Shadow Walker, I think maybe the Counts can withstand, because there's not a lot of ammo left, and then we all know how much fucking healing this guy can do, and we know how many goddamn zombie summons he has, and he still has Breath Attack, right? Oh yeah, he has plenty of breath attacks. This is very winnable for the Vampire Counts. Now, when I say very winnable, I don't say very likely to win. I just say he's not doomed. I do think the High Elves are in a better position. I think the balance of power is accurate. Vampire Counts are on the back foot, but they are not dead yet. This Terrorgeist needs to get out of here, and he's not even getting attacked. He's not getting movement orders. He's actually just vibing in this fight, but he is having a terrible time. White Lions of Christ are tearing him apart, and he needs to get back up in the air. He needs to use his breath attacks as well, which he still has all three. So the breath attacks are not getting used by the Vampire Counts, and that is really crucial, because that's most of the reason you took the fucking Terrorgeist. Flying breath attack caster that heals itself. Necromancer's getting really low. Silver Helms and White Lions drag him down, and this I don't know what's going on with this Terrorgeist, because he's not even trying to get away. I think he's trying to bait so the Blood Dragon Lord get a nice breath attack, but he's taking so much damage because this thing has been here for so long and it's not even trying to path out. All right, bro, if this was all a breath attack bait, you got to do it soon, because this thing is taking so much damage and you desperately need it to win this game. But he's busy dodging with the Blood Dragon Lord. 1 volley, 3 volleys, 14, but that thing's almost dead, so who cares? 8 volleys left in that one, who's also dead, so who cares? Salinator is a fantastic Vampire Counts player. He is much, much better than me at this faction. I so strongly disagree with how this is being played at this moment that I am going to scream. I will throw all the caveats in the world that he's a better player than me and yada yada yada, but for the love of God, save the fucking Terrorgeist! Throw down a zombie summon, do something! He throws down a zombie summon onto the Shadow Walkers that should rout and shatter them. Now use your breath attack. No, don't use your breath attack on the scattered out Shadow Walkers, use it on the clump! Use it on the giant fucking clump! Why? Why wouldn't you do that? What the fuck? Why did you take the Terrorgeist if you're just gonna let it die? I'm furious. I can feel my blood rushing through my veins. It's like fire as it burns. I'm gonna have a heart attack at 32 years old because I can't chill out over fucking video games. But that was insane. That was insane decision making. I cannot complain enough about that target priority. That was wild. Why would you do this? I am livid. Necromancer is gonna die, but that's been coming for a long time. The Terrorgeist finally got back into the sky, so now you can get into the sky! You piece of shit! Actually, I get it. If I was the Terrorgeist, I would be like, boss, I held him in place for you, and then when you see the breath attack go into fucking nowhere, you would bail too! You would say, fuck this! What was I holding for? What was I doing? Nice little breath attack onto the Shadow Walkers now, but it's too late. The Blood Dragon Lord has taken too much damage. He's stuck on the ground with some fucking Silver Helms. Terrorgeist is gonna die. Okay. To be fair, the Terrorgeist doesn't have the mass to get out. Maybe! You could try! Blood Dragon Lord's now surrounded by the White Lions. There's no getting out. The Terrorgeist is even crumbling. He's nearly heal capped. So once the Terrorgeist goes away, he can't heal himself for anymore. He can pop out some zombie summons here and there, but it's not going to be able to save him. This is GG, as 3 healthy White Lions of Krace are ready to just chop through Dragon Blood all day. I don't get why banning isn't a thing in the game. What do you mean banning isn't a thing in the game? Depends on what you mean. We ban some pretty unfun units on our server, so they're not played in our tournaments or on the Vermin League. Like, the Landship and Thunderbarge have been banned on our server forever. That's why you don't see those in any battles, is they've just been banned. The Thundertusk recently got banned, before these games were played. So Taco using the Thunder Tusk was completely fine. He was not cheating. We banned it later. The ROR Skull Cannon is something we discussed banning. So far it hasn't passed, but yeah, we banned stuff. But I don't know if I'm talking about the same thing you're talking about. It's a game, why do you have to be mad? Partially because it's entertaining. I like to be the entertaining, fun, funny guy. Falcon drilling Ryder with the kite builds really paid off. Yeah, he did great. He did great. Okay, caught up with chat. Banning is in denying magic use. Oh, just banning all magic? Lucidia did a tournament recently for that. So some people do it for fun tournaments. It's not commonly wanted though, because it is one of the things that makes Warhammer different than other Total Wars. And people generally like magic. And magic is also like, if you didn't have, if magic was banned, Vampire Counts literally isn't a faction. High Elves and Tzeentch literally aren't factions without magic. So you do like drastically alter how the game is balanced. Anybody with high melee stats would just start winning at that point, because magic is so crucial to determining, like, changing the odds on melee fights. It would just become like green skin meta. Honestly, ogres have good magic, but also they could just face roll you in melee if there's no like nets or debuffs or healing to keep your front line moving. So yeah, without magic, just anybody who has the fastest, strongest melee units would win. Also, boxes. You'd get a lot more boxes without Winds of Magic, because you can punish blobs or boxes with good place spells like Searing Doom, Burning Head, Pendulum, Pit of Shades, things like that. Oh, okay. Okay, Homer Simpson, I see. Okay. Those builds got caught off guard by him not playing 2 Star Dragons. Salinator? That's fair. Okay, sorry. I was busy talking to chat. We have one last game to cast, so let's just go cast it. Let's go do that. So who will make it into top 4? We have Ryder of Rohan on High Elves versus Gotrek Starbreaker on Dwarves. For anybody who notices something wrong with Ryder's build, if you've read the rules carefully, I'll get to that at the end. There's a reason we're casting this game. Okay. All right. Oh, fuck. Okay, we're getting right into it. So, for the spot in the top 4, we have High Elves versus Dwarves. High Elves brought 4 Rangers, triple Lion Chariot of Krace, Omen of Assyrian, and another Arcane Phoenix, and then Alariel the Radiant with Earthblood and Foz Protection. So a very small High Elf build. For the Dwarves, we have a minor frontline. Gotrek didn't even bother bringing blasting charges, because I think he's played enough High Elves to know that the High Elves don't usually bring infantry, because all of their infantry is terrible into Dwarves. So the miners don't have a lot to blasting charge. We have 2 Doom Seekers, one of which is the Brotherhood of Grimnir. Then we have Dragonback Slayers, Long-Drawn Slayer Pirates, Giant Slayers, and more Slayers. It's all Slayers. Then we have Gotrek, a Demon Slayer, and Garagrim Iron Fist. All right. The Lion Chariots are charging straight through. And that one gets stopped up in an unholy amount of Slayers and cannot move. Takes a ton of damage and then starts to retreat. Does get Earthblood. Did not lose any models, so it's still full effectiveness if it can get some healing later down the line, as the other chariots are going to charge through the miners on the flanks. But a big old blob is forming, and that is perfect Omen of Assyrian. Oh, no! Oh, no! Glorious Death means none of these models can die, but they can sure take a fuckload of damage and then die later. Ow! Not another one, please, not another one. Not like this! Oh, God! Why are the dwarves so blobbed up? That is way too blobbed up. He got one of the Lion Chariots, he routed it, he killed one of its models, but he took so much motherfucking damage in the meantime. Did you guys get credit? Yeah, 2,200 for the Arcane Phoenix's single little butt dance there. And the Rangers are also going to do very well against the Slayers. So, unfortunately, I don't think this Dwarf build has a lot that can honestly kill the Rangers. This does feel like a bit of a diffy in the builds. A bit of a build diffy. Arcane Phoenix is currently getting massacred by Gotrek and the Demon Slayer. It retreats, losing 2/3 of its HP in a brief little soiree with them. Lion Chariots are trying to come back. They can get some healing. Looks like Larry's going to go cast Heart of Avalorn, Star of Avalorn, whatever, on the Omen of Assyrian. Actually, the Omen of Assyrian probably wants to dive back into melee here so that the Heart of Avalorn could just go right there. Yeah, it's happening. Oh my god, it's happening. Just going to heal, and then the heart right there. Right there. Little healy, sprinkly disco light of goodness and wonder. There you go. Took you a while. Some of the Lion Chariots getting a little bit of healing, but they are running low on models. 3 models out of 4, 2 out of 4, and 3 out of 4. So they have actually lost some models. The Slayers still happy to kill the Phoenixes, and all of a sudden the balance of power came back to the Dwarves a little bit. Now as more and more healing goes down, it's getting a little bit better for the High Elves yet again, but as we've seen, these Slayers are more than up to the task of killing birds. Fuck you, birds. And their Hero Hammer of the Dwarves will be difficult to take out. Lion Chariot still plowing through all of these Slayers. Alas, the Rangers fighting it out too. Brotherhood of Grimnir helping to kill them. Fuck you, Rangers. More butt tornadoes! More dead dwarves from butt tornadoes! Hero Hammer has to be the most unfun thing in the game. True. True. That's one of the reasons that people don't like dwarves, though. As they cycle charge this blob, I just want to comment on what we said at the start of the stream. The thing that people aren't complaining about is regular dwarf builds with like dwarf warriors, thunderers, rangers, and stuff. It's the fact that they can do air cheese with the thunder barge, or air cheese with gyrocopters, or a hard box with iron breakers, or apparently a slayer blob, or a hero hammer blob. It's just they have so many playstyles and only one of them is fun. The only thing that I enjoy fighting dwarves is if the enemy dwarf player takes like an honorable normal build. But if they do anything cheesy, if you're not prepared for that exact cheese, you just get fucked. So that's like, to people who were wondering why dwarves are considered strong, that's why. It's not because any individual dwarf build is unbeatable. It's just they have so many wildly different types of builds you need to prepare for. Like, trying to kill a hero hammer is very different than trying to kill gyrocopters that are kiting you. Trying to kill Hero Hammer is very different than trying to kill a very wide build with a lot of bolt throwers and thunderers. Like, they just require different things, and dwarves can like build roulette you. And people hate losing to build roulette because then you feel annoyed. So like, what was the point? It was all luck whether I picked the right build or not. So I hope some of the dwarves' extreme strategies get nerfed by CA a bit. Oh god, another. Oh, okay. Does he have one? He still has a vortex. It would go so well right there. Nice heal from Alariel out, trying to keep the Lion Chariots in it. Dun, 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 dun. There's the tornado. No, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, whatever. Fuck me, I guess. Do it! Do it, you coward! Ah! Oh, the humanity! Oh, the dwarven death! And destruction! Oh my god! The blob fight commences once again as the Phoenixes charge back in. The Omen of Assyrian takes a bunch of damage. His heal cap is very close, so even if he gets his little Phoenixy heal, it won't matter for too much longer. And Larry is sweating because Larry doesn't want to fight any of those characters. The other Arcane Phoenix will do okay, but the Omen of Assyrian's super low. The Lion Chariots are having issues. And how do they kill the single entity dwarves? Anyway, sorry, I was reading chat for a second. Another tornado, trying to finish off the last of these Slayers. There's not that many Slayers left, there's just a lot of flags. But the flags will start disappearing soon. Then you still have the triple hero hammer of Gotrek, Garagrim, and the Demon Slayer. Healing cap's getting close for a lot of the Lion Chariots. The Omen of Assyrian still very low. Ryder falls back. You say underwhelming, I would say balanced game concept. I find it over half teams being underwhelming, having non-sensical battles paired to each other. For me, to each their own. Ah. Okay. Alright, Glorious Death is out. None of the Slayers can die in this brief moment, and it looks like the Lion Chariots do not share that power, as one of them is definitely dying. But then they're going to run away. The problem with Hero Hammer is always you're all infantry characters, so you can just get knocked over a lot, so the Chariots are cycle charging and knocking them over constantly. Bounce power is not favoring the Dwarves, but they still have a lot of fight left in them. Whenever they can actually get their hands on something, they will demolish it. Dwarf Heroes still need a big nerf. They do. I don't actually think Dwarf Heroes are that OP. I just think they're so horrendously unfun that they should be nerfed so no one takes them. I don't think they're that OP. They're pretty weak to spells. They're slow. They can get knocked around like this. They're just unfun. Now, they're not terrible. I just don't think they're OP. I think they're fine balance-wise. Terrible game design. All right, times 2 speed, as the High Elves are just going to cycle charge a lot more. Bam, bam, ba-da-bum, bam, bam, ba-da-bum. Arcane Phoenix, the Omen of Asurion dies. Army losses is going to take out the Dwarves, but don't worry, they're all unbreakable, so that literally doesn't mean anything. But a good charge onto the Demon Slayer kills him off. Gotrek and Gargrim fight side by side. His Lion Chariots run around. Lots of damage on the Arcane Phoenix, but still cycle charging and healing. And you'll get them eventually. So, to the astute out there who have read the tournament rules and know the High Elf unit caps, you will notice that they took 3 Lion Chariots, which Lion Chariots are limited to 2. The players did replay this game. Ryder replaced one of his Lion Chariots. I think I told them they could redo the builds. I honestly don't know. But all I know is Ryder sent me both replays, and he said, hey, we replayed it. I won both times. Trust me, this one is more interesting. So I picked the more interesting one. But yes, for you astute-eyed viewers, yes, there was a unit caps rule break. The players replayed it. Ryder still won. Do we have attacking rules? Yeah, cycle charging is allowed if you do it at, like, relatively good intervals like that. Because the attacking rules aren't there to benefit Hero Hammer. The attacking rules are there so you just don't make games take forever and are a dick about it. But if they're cycle charging like that, that was pretty fine. Dwarven heroes all got an insane amount of value, but there was a lot of High Elf blood to churn through as they kept healing up. The rest of the Slayers had mixed results. And, I mean, the High Elves got a lot of value out of the units they took. There weren't a lot of them, but they took them. Alright. Now, before anybody, like, gets too mad or something, like, it's a try-hard tournament. It's a faction where people are doing their best. Gotrek took a build he thought was the best to win in the instance. Just because it's not entertaining doesn't mean I begrudge him for taking it. And Ryder had a similarly intense build with just 3 chariots and 3 birds trying to kill an entire army. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the dwarves. So, High Elves will be making it to our top 4. Now again, Dark Elves and Ogres have yet to play because the Dark Elf player is on vacation, which is fine. So that'll get lumped into our final 4. So our final 4 will actually be a final 5 quotations. So either Dark Elves or Ogre Kingdoms will join Ryder Rohan in the top of the bracket. Let me pull up something quick before you all disperse. I'm getting text messages. Why? Who dares? Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by someone's post. If you care about the left side, that is tomorrow in 27 hours. So I don't know what time difference you're at, but for me it's 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. After I get done with work, we'll be streaming the left side. So if you're around in 27 hours, please join us as we figure out who else joins the top 4. We'll do the final stream live. Just gotta figure out who the top 4 players are and then figure out that time. Now, behind the scenes, I know who the top 4 players are, and I intend to message them after this stream and figure out a time. Yeah, so that'll be difficult, but we have to wait till Sipa's back from vacation anyway, so we got like 5 or 6 days. He broke the attacking rules, so it's cool. No, he was cycle charging at a reasonable pace, so it was fine. I don't remember ever seeing High Elves win a faction war. No. A High Elf main won a faction war once as Dark Elves. None of mine, anyway. Yeah, none of mine. Maybe Turin's. Turin's been hosting him forever, though. Okay, that's the faction war today. Let's find somewhere to send you people. If you're not subscribed, do that, because we're losing subscribers and it's pissing me off. It's possible to grow in this space for some reason. No other Warhammer streamers streaming right now, huh? That's fucked up. That is fucked up. Cultist of Corn is streaming. I don't know who that is. Okay. I guess I'll raid this guy, because he's streaming Warhammer, I guess. Hopefully he's not a terrible person. Alright, go say hi to him, I guess. Bye!
Let's fight this battle. So this should be a